Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Hotep Jesus are those of Hotep Jesus and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Hotep Nation or any of its officials. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact our Office of General Counsel via the sheet of account. And Hotep and them.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
and
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
Good afternoon, Hotep Nation. Welcome to the Grift Report, live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. I'm your host, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this is a real Hotep brother.
Hotep to the chat, Hotep to the Hotepistanis.
Hotep.
I got a special guest in the house. He is on the FBI terror watch list. Rob Dew from Infowars. What's up, bro?
It's just the small terror watch list, though. It's not the big one. It's just the small one.
I'm sure that whole
that was for videotaping the police arresting protesters.
That's saw that.
Yeah, a long time ago, back in 2009. Got arrested for that, and but all the charges were dropped. But I learned later when I was going to take a tour of the State Department, I wasn't allowed to tour the State Department because I had a designation. Yeah. So what you say is true. I'm probably on some list.
But I saw another one where I think this was with Alex's case with the whole Sandy Hook thing. That was in 2001, and they went in and was grabbing all the files and stuff like that, and brought you into the deposition.
No, that had to do with my uncle was a former FBI agent, and he was actually a retired FBI agent, and so, but that's nothing I want to get into on your show.
Okay,
no
worries, no worries.
Yeah, what was interesting? Yeah, well, I contacted you. I sent you a message. Say, hey, you want to talk about childhood vaccines? I think I saw something. Were you talking about with people on Twitter?
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I could jump in on this. You've got kids, I've got kids. There's probably people out there who are expecting to have kids soon. I know some people who just had kids. So it's a big deal. And it's nothing. I don't think the behind the scenes stuff of what happens when you go into a hospital to have a baby is talked about enough, especially for parents.
Wait. First of all, hold on. Before we get into that, we got to discuss more important matters.
All right.
Did you watch the Taylor Bowl?
Oh, I saw parts of it. My kids were watching it, but I'm not a fan of either team. I do watch a little football, but overall, too many rules in football, too many stoppages of play, too many penalties. So it's not my sport. I like basketball. I like soccer. I like Frisbee golf. Those are the sports I play.
Okay. What about the conspiracy of how it was scripted to make Taylor win. Have you ever put any brain power towards that conspiracy theory?
I have. In fact, we used to have a guest on the show, Brian Toohey, who I think was one of the first people to write books about this. I think he sued the NFL at one point, and on the back of the ticket it says for entertainment purposes only. This is not. This shouldn't be expected to be a contest. But if you look at any contest, everything is rigged in some fashion or another, depending on who's in charge. There's always some sort of chicanery going on. So I did watch the end at the in the overtime, and there didn't seem to be any weird calls or any non-calls or anything that would make that happen. But I think they blocked an extra point for the other team, so that's why we had overtime anyway. So it was like they squeezed. It's funny that what I like, you watch football and like for 3 quarters, nothing happens. In the last 3 minutes is where all the action happens.
Yeah.
So that's, it just seems like a long time. Perfect for TV though, to, sell you Pfizer drugs and anti-Christian values and anything else they could think of. So that it's the perfect medium for that because of all the commercial breaks and all the timeouts and the injuries and the replays and the reviews. It's just, that's my, there's a really good Alex Jones video going around X right now of him talking about football from 2012. And just,
what do you say?
It's an issue of no significance. Just how, if people are talking around the water cooler and you go, hey, do you think they're setting up a surveillance grid? And people are like, well, that's kind of weird. Well, I think it's weird that you want to talk about nothing. I think we should be talking about these issues that directly pertain to us, not a game of these overplayed gladiators that don't care about us in any way, shape, or form.
I put out a tweet this morning. I said, it's 2 types of people with common sense and people who don't think the Super Bowl is scripted.
I definitely think I think it was scripted for those 2 teams to be in the Super Bowl. But at least one team, at least the Chiefs, yes.
But not for Taylor to win.
Well, once they got him in, it was going to happen,
right?
But it did happen, and very, although if they hadn't scored there, I think they keep playing. They say they keep changing the rules. It's always, we got to change the rules for overtime to make it fair for everybody. I like the way college football does it. They put you on the 25-yard line. You get 3 plays. And if you make it in, then the next team gets that. And you keep going till one team doesn't score. But it's not driving the whole field. It's not like a regular game. But I kind of like the college system if at least it's more exciting. Because you could have right 6
outside
overtimes.
the red zone.
Yeah. I think it's at the 25-yard line going to the end zone. So you've got and you got 3 or 4 plays to make. You got a set of downs to make it in. And you either kick a field goal or you get a touchdown. And then the other team, if they get a touchdown and you got a field goal, it's the other team wins. So I think that's a little bit better. But yeah, I think there's way too many rules and too many refs throwing too many flags. And I think holding should not be a penalty. I think, if the other guys can grab you, you should be able to grab them.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult for the offensive line to sort of hold things together. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad at least you're on the common sense side of things. Some people were like, "How dare you?"
I try to be
scripted. Somebody
said,
you're just saying this for to get people to argue." And I'm like, "Nah, I really believe this shit is scripted. Caesar's gladiator games, bro. Like, where are you at?"
Yeah. I mean, it's, they have a vested interest, especially today's administration has a vested interest in that team winning.
Yeah. And then while everybody's watching the Super Bowl, the Senate is meeting for the Ukraine aid package.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Kind of like how they passed the Federal Reserve Act the night before Christmas or, when there was no social media to point it out.
Yep, right before Congress was going to go on Christmas break, they passed the Federal Reserve bill. That's correct. That is absolutely right. You know your stuff, Rob. What do you know about this bill that they passed or passed along, I should say? Because it's not.
I haven't looked at it, but I imagine it's just more money for Ukraine, more billions of dollars that we're not spending
do you think we should
at
send
home.
More money to Ukraine?
No. I don't think we should have sent anything to them to begin with. I think the peace process was thwarted from the beginning. I mean, you can go back to Obama's term when the first coup happened with Soros's help, that color revolution that happened there. That laid the groundwork for Victoria Nuland to come in, and they chose their new leader, Zelensky. In fact, they talk about Yatsenyuk and Klitschko in her famous fuck the EU recorded phone call when she's like, we're talking, but we don't want them, because they're kind of strong-headed thinkers. These are actual men. One of them was a professional fighter. And she's like, oh no, we want Zelensky because he can be controlled, he can be talked to. And they literally just sit there talking about picking a leader for another country. And if that doesn't scare you, and then you say, oh, we're defending democracy. No, there's never been any democracy in the Ukraine. It's all been scripted, just like the NFL.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
It's all been scripted, just like the NFL. Say it so casually. So why is it that some of the I call them red whites, Republicans, GOP, the grifters on the right, are like Ben Shapiro, we have to send money to Ukraine. Why are they pushing for it? Why is there a divide in the right amongst this topic?
Well, obviously there's money coming back somewhere. There's I think Boeing owns a plant in the Ukraine where they make giant passenger jets, which may be why some of their wheels are falling off now. I don't know. There's obviously drug companies there. They're experimenting on all kinds of things, and that's like kind of our new testing ground. I think it was China 10, 15 years ago, and while there's still operations going on there, they're like, well, let's move it to Ukraine because it's the wild west, so to speak, of Eastern Europe. And anything can go on. We kind of control what goes on in there. And then I think the other thing is a lot of these people have stock in these arms companies. Where's this money going? This really isn't money we're sending them. This is money to buy more weapons to replace the crappy ones we're sending to Ukraine. So we're not even giving them our best stuff. We're like, here's our 10-year-old supplies. Now, hey, military industrial complex, make some more. And so the people who have that vested interest, Nikki Haley, for one, they want to see more war because that just fattens their bottom line, which is disgusting. Honestly, somebody said we should be sending tractors to these countries instead of tanks, and we'd have a better rendition of world peace than what we have now. But what's going on now? You've got money laundering, you've got weapons manufacturing, you've got weapons selling to other places. They already say they can't account for 30% of the weapons that go there. So that's 30% going to Africa, going to the Middle East. We're probably getting shot at with missiles and guns that are ours that have been taken from Afghanistan or that have been shipped to Ukraine. And, they're going, some go in, 30% going to this guy's van, and he gets to go take it, to wherever. And that's what I think is going on with Ukraine. And that's why some people support it.
Where do you land with the Putin interview? What's your 30,000-foot view of the Putin interview with Tucker?
I think the main few questions were about the peace process that was scuttled by Boris Johnson and who blew up the pipeline. Although we kind of already knew these things, we already knew who was to blame and who had the most to gain for it, because Europe certainly didn't want that because their power prices went up after that. And then we basically are sending tankers of liquid natural gas to these areas in Europe, so they can pump it off ships. So instead of having a pipeline where it just comes to a station and then spreads out, no, we have to put it on a ship over in the United States and sail it, for lack of a better word, over to Europe to sell it. And we're doing a lot of work on that. Like we are literally producing a lot of energy right now, but we're just selling it to Europe instead of keeping it here. That's why our gas prices are still high. And everything else, propane. I ran for neighborhood association right when we moved into this new neighborhood. And I said, hey guys, we should get natural gas in our neighborhoods instead of all relying on propane, because they were building a natural gas line about over there to our neighborhood. And the people were like, it's going to run our yards. They're going to dig up our yards. I'm like, guess what? Grass grows back and we're going to be paying double the propane in a year. Sure enough, a year rolls around, 2022. We're paying double propane.
Damn.
But nobody gives me a cookie. a couple people that are on the board now that were like, well, maybe we should have listened to you. Well, we could still listen to me. We could still like dig up, one guy had it right. He's like, we'll just dig up in the street. You dig a trench in the street. That way you're not, raping everybody's yard. Then you could just go into the right spots. But then there's the retrofitting of equipment, which will cost about a quarter of the year that it costs to pay for the propane. So the propane mafia is deep in Dripping Springs. Say that. There's mafias everywhere. Oh, there's a Ukraine mafia. There's a football mafia. There's mafias everywhere.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears here. Let's talk about the childhood jibby jabbies. The last child I had, I remember when a nurse asked me to jab her, and I politely declined. And she gave me this evil ass look, like I was doing something wrong. And I looked at her like, you acting like this your baby.
Well, the job of a drug pusher is to push the drug. And I think there's, some sort of scale where they look at how many patients come in, especially in a hospital system. Where a hospital, if you're going to go have a kid somewhere, having a baby in the hospital is going to be the most controlled than like a birthing center or even an at-home birth. And, before the last 5 years, I didn't know anyone having a home birth. Now I know like 5 people have had home births and successful home births. And these well baby visits that you have after you have your baby, and you have to come in for a checkup where we weigh your baby and measure the baby. And you're like, oh, this is good. But that's just to get you in the door to push more vaccines. And I want to say at the start of this, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be a doctor, but I've talked to lots of parents. I've talked to lots of doctors. I've talked to neurosurgeons about vaccines. And based on their knowledge, I've concluded that my last 2 children have had 0. So
and how old are they now?
10 and 8.
Any complications?
Well, the 10-year-old had trouble with his jump shot in the last 3 games. He didn't score, but this last game, he had a bunch of steals and scored the final 4 points for our team to win. So, other than that, that's the only side effect I could think of. They're good kids. They do both have mild dyslexia, but I think they got it from me and probably my mom, who have mild versions of it as well.
Well, dyslexia is a superpower.
Yeah, I think so. It helps you multitask.
Yeah, I think because dyslexia is like when you read backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
flip things around.
You said what?
Yeah. You flip things. Like if you're looking at numbers, you'd flip them.
Right.
If you look at them real quick. So what it trains you to do is really look at something. Because you have to go, okay, that's what I'm seeing right there, instead of glancing and then looking away. So.
Yeah, I got that shit. And I look at it as superpower, which is like my brain's just processing things faster than usual or faster than other brains. Your brain is processing things as they are, where my brain is scanning ahead and then coming back, right? So it's just a different way of processing. So they like to tell you dyslexia is like this bad thing when really it's not.
Are you good at video games? Because my kid is very good at video games, my youngest son.
Oh, I'm wicked at the game.
And and then my second one too, although he doesn't seem to have dyslexia, but they're both like, pretty good first person Fortnite shooter gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that might have something to do with it, the hand-eye coordination, but they both have good hand-eye coordination. They both can read very well, and they're both smart, and they know, maybe some of that rubs off for me, but they know bullshit when they see it.
Yeah. I remember, going to the doctor. And like you said, going to the doctor sometimes, full disclaimer, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's some bullshit, right? You take the child there to go get weighed and measured, right? And it's like, you could have did that at home. And this is part of parents just outsourcing their duties. Like, oh, the doctor should weigh my child. Like, you don't know how to use a scale, stupid. You know what I mean?
Or a tape measure.
A tape measure, right. So I remember I went to go see the doctor, and the doctor said, this is your last visit because your child is unvaccinated. And we got into a bit of argument. I don't remember all the exact details, but she started asking me, well, weren't you vaccinated? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, you turned out fine. And I said, how do you know that? I said, how do you know I didn't lose 10 points on my IQ? And she looked at me with like this face of frustration, because what I believe is that there's something happened neurologically. I ain't no doctor, I'm no neurologist, but I think there's something happened neurologically where it's affecting the brain. And maybe, you know, because of the vaccinations I've had as a child, that my parents do the best they did. They didn't know any better, but maybe, you know, I lost a couple of IQ points, and that matters. But how do you even measure that, right? And then people.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say this. My dad was a chemical engineer. My mom was an English teacher. And I'm not saying I'm stupid, but I come from good stock. I come from intelligent people who had to work things out and structure things and do things like that.
You come from white privilege.
You know, yeah, exactly. Lots of white privilege. You know, especially when you look at my dad's upbringing. You know, alcoholic father. Father died when he was young. He was the second of his older brother was the retired FBI agent. So he was the golden boy who got to go to the Naval Academy. Great guy. But my dad didn't get to go because of his eyesight. And so he became a chemical engineer and just made patents for this company, millions of dollars for the company he worked for. And, you know, me, I'm a theater major, and but I wanted to, you know, and I'm a video editing guy, director, and I, you know, do research. So not as I would say skilled, and I was never good at math, and which was surprising because he was really good at it. My brother's a statistician, you know, so he definitely got the math gene. It skipped me, but I'm definitely more creative.
Right. So when did you first sort of get tipped off that something was wrong here? And well, you got 2 kids total, or you have more?
I have four total.
So what changed? Because I'm in the same boat where, you know, first 2 pregnancies, you know, vaccinated, last one, no, hell no. Like, so what changed for you where you were like, nah, we're not doing this to the next 2 pregnancies?
Well, it kind of happened beforehand when my sister had her first daughter. And I said, you know, I was in college at the time, but I'd been reading, you know, books and stuff. I think I had None Dare Call It Conspiracy. And I think there's a section in there about the medical system. And I'd been reading other things. But this was like, there was no internet back then. We were reading books. And I said, you know, whatever you do, I think you should just wait. Don't do anything in the hospital. Shouldn't do anything in the hospital. And that's what we did with our first 2. We didn't do anything in the hospital. And I've always been a big proponent of, you know, you want to see that your baby's okay before you put anything in your baby that may make him not okay. And we had, you know, my oldest son has had maybe like 3 or 4 just shots, not even full rounds of vaccination. And my second one, I think, had 1. And I think she was going to bring him to another one. And I said, look, if you bring him to that, get this, I'm going to divorce you. I'm not going to stand by. I would just laid down the law. Only time I ever really laid down the law with my wife about something like that serious. And she's like, oh, okay. And she said, well, you have to go talk to the doctor about this. Because afterwards she was still like, I want to go do it. You know, we won't do it in the hospital, but she wants to do them down the road. Okay, fine. I came in with stack of papers about this big, just articles and studies and all this stuff and interviews. And I'm laying them down and asking, okay, well, what about this? What about this ingredient in this shot? What about this? What about this? How come in every vaccination insert, not the paper they give you, not the 8.5, 11 sheet of paper, but the folded insert that folds out to about this, you know, how come in every single childhood vaccine, it says has not been tested for cancerous or mutagenic potential, or I might say carcinogenic or mutagenic potential, or impairment of fertility. So you're going to say these things are safe and effective, but you haven't tested, you know, for the things that more people were. I'm worried about mutations and cancer, definitely cancer and fertility impairment. And we know Gardasil does some things to people's fertility. We've seen that. And now we've seen what's coming out with these other jabs. But so we have to, you know, if you're going to put that in writing, well, then you better back this up. And they go, well, there's not enough ingredients in there that can do that. Well, how do you know? You know, I go back to Maurice Hilleman, who who was the first, I think that's his name, Hilleman. He made a bunch of vaccines, but he discovered the SV40 virus in the Salk vaccine. And he said, hey, Dr. Salk, maybe we want to look at this. Maybe this isn't, we shouldn't be using these monkey kidney cells to grow this because this virus is passing through in the DNA. We're just going to inject 60 million people with, a possible cancer-causing virus. And that was the SV40 virus. And you can find plenty about anything I talk about. But one thing I do want to say to anybody who's about to have a kid, going to the hospital, write up a birth plan. And if you have a written up birth plan, I'll tell you what I put on mine. One, we put, we're not doing any shots in the hospital. Two, I put, if the baby ever leaves the room, you will wake up the father and the father will go with the baby. Just because that's what I want. I was there for every time they brought the baby out of the room to check them, weigh them, do all this stuff. They do these little blood pricks. In fact, the last two, I did not let them do the blood prick thing because that's what they use to send to your UN database. Essentially, they take your blood and put it in a database. Not a lot of people know that. Texas, they destroy it if you ask them to, but you can also opt out of it. But they go, oh, we check for all these genetic diseases. We check for all these genetic diseases. I'm like, okay, but you also put it in a database. Well, once you catch them, they don't ever lie and go, no, that's not true. They go, well, it's for, they just fall back to it's safe and effective.
Right.
And that's what they did with the vitamin K shot, which is something that's not a vaccine.
Right.
But it is filled with alcohol, ethyl alcohol. And so they want to inject ethyl alcohol into your baby's arm. Which I go, that's weird. So the first baby, we said, well, you can give them oral vitamin K. And they said, oh, we'll give them, we got to double the dose up. And they put it in his mouth and he made that face. Remember when you took your first shot and you went, what was that? He made that exact face. I go, oh, baby's first shot. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And I doubt that ethyl alcohol did anything long term.
Right.
But still, it's the idea of, hey, we're going to inject ethyl alcohol into the bloodstream of your baby, your brand new newborn baby. Oh, and we also have to give him the hepatitis B shot in the hospital because, he may be a drug user. He may be having unprotected sex with men or who have hepatitis B, or, he may get a tainted blood transfusion, all of which are very rare to happen in the hospital. Yet that's the one they push in the hospital is the hepatitis B vaccine.
Right.
And I sent you some videos, which I posted under the tweet that I put out, and I'll reply on yours so people can go watch some of the videos I did. Because my last baby, we didn't want to do the vitamin K shot and what you do to catch these people, and just to educate other people. You take your earbuds and you wear them inside your shirt, and you just have your microphone sitting out right here, and it goes down your shirt into your phone pocket, and you record. And I tell you, this is 100 times better than any Project Veritas audio I've ever heard. So it's a foolproof method to get good audio. And you can hear these. I've put them out there, and it's just me talking to the pediatrician and 3 different pediatrician nurses coming in trying to convince me that I have to give my baby a vitamin K shot. And vitamin K, if people don't know, it's to help with clotting. They say some babies aren't born with enough vitamin K in their system. Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, who I asked her about this, I think when I had my second child, I was interviewing her. I said, well, what should we do? She goes, have your mama eat a lot of kale beforehand. That will increase her vitamin K levels. So eat kale. Oh, eat kale, inject ethyl alcohol into your baby.
That's insane. What are in these videos you have here? These are like some of your recordings, or
in 2017, I went and interviewed. I went to a symposium Robert F. K. Jr. was having with Robert De Niro to talk about vaccine safety. Okay, because I think Robert De Niro has a vaccine damaged child. I met Nico LaHood, who is the DA at Bexar County, which is of San Antonio. He has 2 kids with autism. I interviewed Tony Muhammad, who is he's one of the Louis Farrakhan guys. I almost said Black Hebrew Israelite, but that's not it. But he's Nation Islam. Yeah. And he goes around and talks to people about the MMR jab in particular, and how the studies have shown that it affects Black boys harsher than any other age group out there. And which could, that could mean a lot of things if you extrapolate that out. These were interviews in 2017. And then I also put in the audio that I recorded using my earbuds from my phone. And you just use the voice recorder and you hit record, you stick it in your pocket and you just yap away. And, I cut out all the boring parts, but it's how they were selling the vitamin K shot. And what was funny is from my phone, I was able to find several studies, especially in Europe and Australia, that the oral vitamin K is just as effective as injecting it into the baby. But I think it's the act of injecting it into the baby to precondition the parents to accept more injections down the road. So I don't know. But there's plenty of people that'll say, oh, you shouldn't do it. The vitamin K is dangerous. That's your decision to make. I would say get the insert and read it. Read everything on it. Get a medical dictionary. And as you find words you don't know what they mean, highlight them and go look it up and see what it means. You have to really do this type of research because I don't think you're getting an unbiased, neutral opinion from your caregiver or your care provider. You're getting get in line, take the shot. And we saw that with COVID. But it got to, an nth degree of, if you don't do this, you're hurting other people. They don't. Interestingly enough, I got the MMR when I was a kid. I still got the mumps. So I don't know how that, and I got that in high school. I got the mumps, and that was well after. And the mumps went through my high school where there was I think 20 people caught the mumps all at the same time. I don't know how that happened. That was in the late 80s. So who knows what was going on then, if we were being experimented on, or if a weird version of it came through, or if somebody got the MMR jab and then came through and they had this kind of virulent thing and it was spreading through shedding. I don't know if any of that happened, but those are the things that go through my mind. I didn't mind missing the 2 weeks of school though. It was great. But I'll share you another story. All my kids got chickenpox. And they got it because my father went and got the shingles vaccine because his doctor convinced him that he needed to get it. And then he broke out in shingles. And then literally that next week, every couple of days, a new kid started breaking out with chickenpox. So all 4 of my kids have had chickenpox. And I asked Sherry Tenpenny about this, and she said, well, she goes, that's the version that they put in the vaccine, which is a weird version that they mess with. It's not even like the wild chickenpox virus. It's a version that they've created in a lab that they inject into kids to give them immunity to it. So she goes, so we don't know what's going to happen. I said, oh, thanks, Doc. That gives me a lot. But they have all had chickenpox, and they all got it from my dad, who had the shingles vaccine. Because that's the only way. No one else had chickenpox anywhere around my kids. Yeah. And it was just that exposure. And they went over there for the weekend. I think it started with my oldest son and just went progressively down. And they got good cases too. They were pocked out. Yeah. And, some people they may hear this and go, oh, how could you do this to your kids? I had the chickenpox. My brother had the chickenpox. My sister had the chickenpox. That's something you want to get when you're a kid, because it's really bad if you get it when you're an adult. It can cause a lot, fever problems with encephalopathy and all those types of things. Yeah. So, but like I said, I'm not a doctor, so don't trust anything I say. Go do your own research and make your own judgments, especially with your kids out there. And I hope I'm speaking to people out there who are about to have kids and are looking at this going, wow, we need a birth plan. We need to write this stuff down, because it is almost like a constitution. When you walk in there with that birth plan and you got stuff written on it, the nurses will listen to it. But if you go in there with nothing and you go, oh, we don't want to do this, they're going to really sick the dogs on you and really try to ramp up compliance for anything they want to do. So look at all this stuff. If you're going to record somebody, and depending on which state you're in, some states are 2-party aware, some are 1-party aware. Texas is a single-party consent state. So I could record somebody without them knowing, but obviously check the laws in your area for recording for single or dual party consent, because you don't want to break the law. And I'm not advocating anybody to break the law. I'm advocating for people to become informed, especially for the health of their kids, because, your kids growing up, Nico LaHood details this. He had 2 kids. This is the DA of San Antonio County that San Antonio's in. And he went and listened to the doctors, and both of them were bright, developing, and then boom, all of a sudden they shut down. Both have autism.
Both his kids.
Yeah. And he has 4. So 2 of them, the last 2, he didn't do any vaccinations with. But you hear this from a guy who's not a parent, who's, this is a guy who the people have entrusted with upholding the law, and he's not a Soros DA, because after all this vaccine stuff came out, they were able to boot him out of office, or elect him out of office. But he's standing by his guns, and he doesn't advocate going out and talking. He said, people come to me and ask me to share my story. And my story is, I looked at my children and they were normal and developing, and then they weren't. And we didn't have a car accident. They didn't have any falls. They weren't poisoned. It's like something happened. And the doctors would refuse to look at the vaccines. They just don't want to look at it, because I think there's going to be a major distrust in the medical system if they do look at that. But I think the trust is gone at this point from anything, any health department or anything comes down with some edict. I'm just automatically going to think I'm going to do the exact opposite of what they say, because they lied before in the past and they don't have any incentive to not lie. No one's been punished. So what's their incentive? Their incentive is to keep lying because they think they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm. So my conclusion is, if they don't know what the hell they're talking about in regard to that, what else is the medical industry getting wrong? When we looked at the rollout for COVID and they were putting everybody on those machines,
hey, there's still people on X that will fight with you about the ventilators and say that was the right decision to make, even though, they were sick by the time they put them on the ventilator. Well, they were sick because they were told, go home until you're sick enough to come into the hospital. Not, hey, have some ivermectin, have some zinc, have some azithromycin, have some aspirin to thin your blood up a little bit. And I don't advocate taking a lot of aspirin, but I got sick in 2021. And let me tell you, I was taking the horse paste. It wasn't horse paste. It was in a pill form, but that's how they lie to you. They lie to you and go, this is horse paste. This is for animals.
Right.
Well, I got it in a pill and it says it's for humans. So why are you lying to me about a drug that the guy who invented it won a Nobel Prize for inventing this drug? And you're telling me that this is somehow it's not effective. So, why not try it if it's not effective? I mean, let's do nothing. We're going to do nothing. Okay. You just go home until you're sick enough to go in the hospital, but we're not going to give you this $30 worth of meds to just try. We're not going to do that. Budesonide is the other one.
Okay.
And, Dr. Bartlett, Dr. Richard Bartlett, he's out in Odessa. I was actually in Lake Tahoe on a trip with Alex when I caught it. And I'm literally in a bed thinking I'm going to die, figuring out I have COVID. I call this guy I called Del Bigtree. I texted him and said, man, who's the doctor who prescribed budesonide? Because I couldn't breathe. I knew it was something wrong with my lungs. And he gave me his number. I called him about 7:00 at night. I said, Doc, I'm cooked right now. And he said, you got to do everything I say or you're going to die. And he prescribed those things for me. I went and got the inhaler. I started doing it every 2 hours. And within 2 days, I went from being bedridden to like crawling to the bathroom to being able to pack my stuff up. I still got pretty sick and I ended up catching pneumonia, but I was able to get up and walk around and pack my stuff up, drive all the way back from Lake Tahoe to Texas. And then I caught pneumonia, all this other stuff, and I ended up going on oxygen. It got bad.
Damn.
But since then, I've taken control of my health. I'm, doing some spike detox things to get rid of the spike protein, but I'm not going to the main medical model to ask for help. I'm listening to people like Dr. McCullough and Dr. Bartlett and other people who work with them who are like, no, do this. This is what we've seen works. This is what's helping. I was having brain fog. I started taking nattokinase, knocked it out in about a week. Like I was literally having brain fog, walking around just like feeling stupid. You feel stupid. Like, what? And that's just the spike protein growing in your brain. Don't worry. It's safe and effective. That's why we make the shot that makes more of it in your body. It's insane what we've had to deal with. And anybody who goes, maybe we should look at something else. You're a crazy anti-vaxxer, and where we're at now, it's good. It's good and bad. It's bad how far it's gone and how far it got. But what's good about it is it woke up that many more people that much quicker.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as quick had COVID not happened. So I think we jumped the space-time continuum by about 5 or 6 years because people were able to see it. Now, not everybody. Some people are still, they're full Karen, man. They're like, boom, you take your shots. You put on that mask. You know, there's a lot more of them too, but they've identified themselves. So we know now you can see, you put on the glasses, you could see who is what are the creatures and they live. You can now see them because they wear the mask.
Yeah.
Because they put on their social media. I put out and this is people I follow on Facebook, and they were talking about, I just took my 5th or 6th shot. I was sick for 24 hours again, and then like everybody else commented on it. Yeah, I was sick too. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you not get it? Do you not get it? Like every time you take it, you get sick for 24 hours. Okay, it hasn't killed you. Well, is that helping you? Do you think you have to go in and get sick for you to be better? Why don't you just take care of yourself? And these are people that are, I would say, fairly healthy. They're not, I don't know them that well, but it boggles my mind at what people have done to themselves. But, on the same token, the same amount of people that are hardcore asleep, we've woken up that same amount of people.
You think so?
So there was always a percentage of us that were awake. You were around before this. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now we have more. Our numbers have grown.
Yeah. Before COVID, I was an anti-vaxxer, and afterwards, I was a hero. Like, yeah, he's talking about the agenda. And I was like, I was telling y'all not to take the vaccine before there was a vaccine. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I knew that because of my looking at vaccines originally and just initial looking at vaccines made me, and my wife telling me, well, you have to talk to the doctor, made me do all the research because I'm like, I'm not going to get it. So I'm up at night underlining words, anaphylaxis, what is that? Encephalopathy, what is that? And looking it up and going, oh, that's when your brain swells up because of fever. Okay, I don't want that. Oh, that's a side effect in this vaccine? And you're telling me it's safe and effective? So...
Yeah, I remember I was studying, I ran across the Dr. Sebi stuff, and that's because I was watching Lisa Left Eye Lopez documentary about her life and death. And she mentioned Dr. Sebi. So then after I was like, who the hell is this Dr. Sebi guy? And I went and looked up all his stuff, watched all his videos, and then I landed on Dr. Luc Montagnier. And Dr. Luc Montag said, like HIV is curable. It's not even really a disease. It just needs proper diet and it goes away. It's an immune deficiency, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, notice he's still walking around with HIV, living a pretty good life, and it's undetectable. Well, magic. He's not being affected by it.
Right. Wow.
And so he did something. Correct. And what's interesting is I think he got the talk like, hey, we're going to help you because we like you, Magic. We need you around to keep selling stuff to other black folks. Correct. But don't you say what you did.
Right.
You tell them it's this drug. Tell them it's this pharmaceutical drug. But I firmly believe and there was some rumors that Dr. Sebi helped him.
There were rumors that it was Sebi, yeah. So in all of that, that's when it started at Left Eye, and I eventually got to vaccines and then started doing all of that research and watching all the different documentaries and whatnot. And I was like, damn, I wish I'd have known. And then there's the whole thing about how it affects the black body differently, right? And so some people say this is direct targeting of black people. And I don't know if I agree with that, because you can say the same thing about a cheeseburger. It's going to affect the black body much worse than it is the white body, right? I think it's just, biological differences between our makeups. And it seems like, our selenium-based melanin, because white people have melanin too. There's this sulfur-based, ours is selenium-based. And I think there's just probably, that's why I don't do the whole, don't call us black, call us melanated. And I'm like, white people are melanated too, right? Like, they have melanin.
Well, nobody's pure white, unless you're an albino. And then you better watch out, because in some countries they might get you. Grind your bones up.
Right. So I don't do the whole melanin thing, because everybody's body has melanin. It's just different types of, what it's centered around. And so I think our bodies are different, and because our melanin is set up different ways, and other things about our bodies, we're affected a lot more. But why? Like, why, Rob? Why would they create something that would negatively impact children and target things like fertility?
Well, okay, that's a multi-part question. I think the targeting fertility is to decrease the population, to not have it grow as
So
fast.
you believe in population control? Here we go.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay. Georgia Guidestones and all of that.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, we never caught the guy who blew up the Georgia Guidestones, even though they're under 24-hour video surveillance. Wow. Really? Isn't that fun? I think there was like 8 cameras there. I've been there twice. I think there's 8 cameras. Oh, all over the place. Yet we don't know who blew up the Georgia Guidestones. Just like we don't know who put the bombs, the fake pipe bombs at the RNC and the DNC. We just don't know. We just know our cameras stopped working. Look, it puts out 3 frames a second. Can you tell what anything is at 3 frames a second at 10% quality? No. And they want you to think that that's what the cameras are all over DC. That's how stupid they are.
Yeah.
But let's go back to this other part. Okay, so impairment of fertility is one thing, but no, you already have the kid. Well, let's make these kids not too smart, as George Carlin says, not smart enough to figure out how they're getting screwed, but just smart enough to run the machinery.
Right.
To keep the widgets going, to keep this, utopian world flowing in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
But then, these kids can work, but then they get home and they're too tired to do anything. You see a lot of these kids on TikTok, they're so tired. They work all these hours and then they come home, they can't do anything but watch TV. Well, that's what they want. They don't want you going out and doing anything. They don't want you discovering your true potential and working on yourself and bettering yourself in your life and exercising and doing all those things. They want you to just be able to work. And then when you're sick enough, well, they got a pill for you to mask those symptoms. Because that's all this Western medicine is masking symptoms. It's not about treating what's causing it, which most likely is probably just mucus in your body that's causing most of these things.
Yeah.
And you got to just get that out. And yeah, I've been doing, when I got COVID, it led me into a second discovery of looking at more things that are beyond vitamins, peptides, different things. Like there were times when I would stand up and start walking and my whole body was like numb. And I had to walk 15 steps to then not feel the numbness anymore. And that's weird. And I'm like, I don't know what's up with this. And I was talking to one of the guys at work and he's like, well, you should take this. You should take this. Yeah, it probably was. But I started taking this peptide and it was expensive, but one bottle of it knocked out that symptom. And so I think it was a combination of cardio and then something was, this bioweapon that I was infected with went all over my body. It was up in my head. It was down in my groin. It was in my lungs. It was in my joints. It went everywhere. And so, I've made it my life's goal to make sure it's out and doesn't come back. And I would recommend anybody out there, if you're not unable or if you're in an area where they don't allow you to get, stuff like ivermectin and your own antibiotics and stuff like that, to look up online. There's a lot of good Indian pharmacies, and it's a weird process. Let me tell you, it's a little sketchy when you're sending money through PayPal to some dude for books. It gets a little sketchy, but, I think the Hotep Nation should definitely arm themselves with the medicines they need, because this is going to happen again. We had Brett Weinstein in here on Sunday doing an interview with Alex that is going to be released Monday. And he sees it already coming, that was just a dress rehearsal to see how we would react. So now they have the counterattacks to our reaction. So they're playing 5D chess when we're just reacting to whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to really be on a second level, which, I think part of that, people woke up, that's leveling up.
Yeah, I think it's paramount to start taking a look at better health. That's why we got Men of Water. Make sure y'all get y'all flow and y'all Apex.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, so tell me about those. What's in those?
So, in particular, let's talk about Apex, because that's a new one. Apex has a combination of saponins and nervines. So these things are great for the nerve endings. This one is more for muscle growth and support. And so that one is full of saponins. Now, flow, that's our brain. That's our brain situation. And this one is dealing with neurology, right? So it's going to have things that promote neurogenesis, allow...
Are these CBD based or are they just nutraceutical based? Okay.
These are 100% herbal. Hoteps, we do herbal. But a lot of it is just, allowing the system to do what it does best by removing things. So you'll find in these products like anti-inflammatory properties, right? So it's like, even with, I was doing some research into black maca, because black maca is one of the main ingredients in here. And, they're trying to say that it's creating muscle growth, or it's creating a boost in testosterone. And what they're finding is that it's actually not even boosting your testosterone. It's tricking your body into thinking it's producing more testosterone, but the testosterone levels are the same, but you're getting all the benefits of a boosted testosterone feel, right? So they're starting to understand that there's something going on at the endocrine gland level of the body. So when you look at, Apex, some of the ingredients, they're saying there's something happening with the glands. And that's the mysterious part about the human body, is when you start dealing in the 7 chakras or the 7 glands, from the pituitary down to the adrenal, you start to see things that you read these articles, like these science articles, and it's just like ... like they just don't know what's happening at a certain point. But there's something happening with these plants that they're able to communicate with your body in some interesting way, that it improves libido, improves muscle growth, et cetera, et cetera. And really, like I said, the product's not really doing anything. It's probably just cleaning, removing toxins. That's probably what it's really doing.
Inflammation is the worst thing for your body, because it keeps your body working on the inflammation and fighting that instead of just doing its normal process. So you have to work through that. And that's actually, I'll just plug this one because I take it all the time. Bodies, and it's just here from the desk, but this is basically just turmeric, and it goes after inflammation. And then it's got black pepper and a couple other things, but the black pepper helps your body absorb the turmeric to fight the inflammation, because inflammation is probably the number one thing. If you have a problem, it's inflammation. And, there's other things, obviously, but, how do we get this stuff? Through the GMO food, through the pesticides in the food, through the just crappy food, low grade food, the stuff they spray in the air, the stuff we clean things with, the stuff we use the clothes we put on our bodies, everything is attacking our body in some way, shape, or form. And Alex put out a video the other day showing people walking around New York, and some people were like, "Oh, it's just white people." It wasn't that. It was that everybody was skinny. Everybody was walking around looking like, they just look fit. They just look like, hey, we're business people. Now you look at a business guy, you could tell who works in an office and who doesn't. The guy who works in an office is a lot more portlier than the guy who's the construction worker. But now they each, the construction worker has his diet of beer, and the office guy has got a sedentary lifestyle. So they both get the same body shape, and just, they get through it from different ways. And so, obviously, processed foods. I mean, all those things are huge. And I'll tell you this, after you have a kid, it's not even about vaccinations after a while. It's about making your kids drink water. Okay. We have the water filter, and you drink water.
Right.
Okay. Every once in a while, you have your birthday. Okay. We'll get some Izzy's or some juice boxes. We go tubing down the river. Okay. We'll get some juice boxes.
Right.
But 99% of the time, they're drinking filtered water. And that's going to make your kids way more healthier than anything. Juice is not good for them. Juice is not good for them. It's just sugar. It's just putting sugar into their system. Exactly. And we fight with all that. We fight with them, getting sugar and getting those things. But when my kids are thirsty, they go right to the big water filter that we put stickers on that I've had for years, and they make their own water, and they fill it up, and they know how to do it, and they're part of their own well-being, and they don't even know it. But they're going to pass those lessons onto their kids.
Yeah.
They're going to have their water filter, and they're going to filter their water.
Yeah, I remember
And that's where it starts.
Well, we had a family gathering once, and the kids are running around playing, and then my kids come in the kitchen and they're asking for water and they're drinking water. And somebody said to me, they said, "How do you get your kids to drink water?" And I said, "That's the only thing that we got in the house. We don't buy juice and soda. That stuff is toxic, man."
That's the number one way to get them not to drink that is to just have water.
Right.
And they've always had water, and we have water bottles, and we wash a lot of water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's worth it. And
absolutely.
My kids are healthy. They all, every once in a while they get sick, but it's not. They don't really they take mental health days from school just because they don't take any sick days. So we're like, hey, you want to take a mental health day and hang out? Go ahead. And they ask for it, and we give it to them. And that's the next thing is how do we get them out of the school system? Because I don't really, they're there for 7 or 8 hours, and what are they learning? Yeah, that's good.
I took my boys out. Yeah.
You have to. Yeah, I think that's important, and that's something I want to do. My wife is not a proponent of that, but she wasn't. She was also a proponent of vaccination before she met me. So
it be the women,
people can change.
It be the women.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, they scare them.
American women are trash, bro.
Yeah. Well, you carry a baby for 9 months, and they say this, and anything that can get your baby, they're going to get polio. They're going to get this. They're going to get that.
Right.
Their brains are going to swell. And they're like, well, shit, I don't want my baby's head to swell. All right, I'll take that. It's just a shot. Okay, dude, let's do the shot. We don't even know. The only reason they even think vaccines work is because after they inject them into you, they test your antibody. They just see if you have an immune response.
Right.
Well, maybe that's from injecting aluminum into their veins. Maybe their body's going, what is this aluminum doing here? Mm-hmm. Get it out of here. Mm-hmm. And so, but they're like, well, that shows it's working. That's literally how they go, what's the immune response? Yeah. And I hope people attack me over this interview because I welcome it.
I think what the issue is establishing who's the authority on information.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And I think they get to women first because women, as you know, through marketing is done through emotion. So they target the mothers and the parents, the mothers and the women. And, here are the dangers, danger. So they always have these things in the back of their mind. Whereas men were sort of logical in things like, let me look into this. Like you said, you were up late at night underlining and women don't do that. But Asian women do that shit. They be all up in everything, making sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. It's something that's broken with American culture to where our women are asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
And it begins with the fact that they don't know who to trust. And because they have so much ignorance, they can't trust themselves.
Mm-hmm. Their own intuition. Their intuition saying, why are you, after you injected your baby, he cried all night. What was that? And he had a fever. Oh, but it's just a low-grade fever. But what is that low-grade fever doing? That's inflammation. What is that inflammation doing downstream? Because I've had friends who've, they went got, one of them never got a shot after that. Baby cried and screamed all night long. All night long. And I said, hey, man, better look into what you're putting in your baby.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it was the day after the shots. Oh, it was the day after the shots. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, maybe you ought to look into that. Well, never got another one after that. And that's another one on our side. And it's a shame that your kids have to suffer damage for people to see that, because that's, life is hard enough. And if you're starting off, you could have been on second base and you're starting in the batter's box. Well, that's a big difference in how you're going to turn out. Mm-hmm. And if you can't control your emotions because your brain's always inflamed, a lot of things like that are downstream effects that happen. So you don't handle yourself well emotionally, and I've had that problem. I'm a very emotional person. See me on the basketball court last Saturday. I was whipping them boys into a frenzy because I wanted them to go out there and play some defense, and they did.
You play basketball, huh?
I used to. We got
to get the Hotep Nation versus Infowars versus Daily Wire versus Blaze basketball tournament. I've been trying to put that together. Tell Alex to make this shit happen, man. I got my squad
we'll
ready.
make Alex a center. He doesn't have to do much. But Owen Schroeder's a really good basketball player.
Is he?
Yeah, and we have a couple tall people. We'll put them in at center. We're ready. We're ready to ball.
Goldstein, get ready, man. We got Goldstein. He's 7 foot, man. I'm ready to put him in.
Oh, all right. All right.
Yo, I had these two ladies on, right? A couple of months ago. And they were talking to me about in case of pandemic, they had protocol and they worked for the official, I think OSHA or something like that. They worked for they were trained specifically for a pandemic response, right? And they came on my show and said that when COVID hit, it was like everybody abandoned their training.
They got scared.
Yeah. And that to me, I think it was triggered because I was talking about the ventilators. And she was like, yeah, that wasn't part of our protocol and sort of how we locked down and then the whole mask situation and whatnot. But they told me that they completely abandoned it, which made me believe that the population control agenda may have went into effect in overtime with the ventilators, because it seemed like the majority of the people, or a vast number of people, I should say, better yet, when they went on the ventilators, that's when you see a health decline. And you usually see that, like, ventilators are usually for, when somebody's passing and, you want the family to see them, right, before they pass.
Right.
But usually you don't give, healthy individuals, those types of things.
I had a friend die on the ventilator. And I told her, I said, don't go on the ventilator, whatever you do. Don't go on the ventilator. And they put her on the ventilator. And she got sick, left the hospital, came back, and they put her on the ventilator.
Mm. And then
it's, she was a year younger than me. It's like two kids.
And remember, they were pressuring Trump and saying, yo, get more of these out.
We got to make these. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was to test drive a mobilization effort and to see if they could introduce a medical protocol that's not normal, just to see, and they needed deaths. And this was one way to create deaths and to kill old people because, we're paying their Social Security. We got to keep the Social Security money running for a few more years till we can figure out a way to steal it all, by just imploding the system.
Right.
So we got to kill these old people because they're costing us money. They're in these nursing homes. So let's put sick people in the nursing home. And then when they get sick, we put them on the ventilator. Then we get these numbers that we like. And then we can create the other stuff with counters on the back wall showing all the cases and all that. And Trump's like, yeah, we can build ventilators because they're telling him, hey, all we need is these ventilators.
Mm-hmm.
But in March of 2020, there's a video. You can still find it out on YouTube. Emergency room doctor's like, I think we're treating this the wrong way. He's sitting at his kitchen table. He's like, I've been in here. We're treating these people with ventilators. That's not what they need. It's like altitude sickness is what they have. They just need more oxygen in their body. And the ventilator's not doing that. It's just helping them breathe.
Right.
It's not giving them more oxygen. So it's making them breathe. They're not getting any more oxygen and slowly their body's shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole process of that ventilator, is just to help their body shut down so they don't just, die right away or whatever. I mean, I don't know. The ventilator definitely didn't help them. There's very few people that walked away from that. I think it was like a 3 to 5% walked away after they got put on a ventilator.
Yeah. I remember when, I think it was Donovan Sharp got sick with COVID. And his wife was sending around text messages. I sent her one thing. I said, do not let them put him on a ventilator. That's the one thing I said, man. Do not. And thank God Donovan Sharp is still here. Appreciate him. Alive and well. But he had a strong battle with COVID. And he made it through. But again, man.
I think there's a bioweapon version and then a regular version that went out that was just like a common cold. And there was a strong version. Because when there was a dinner I went to, and it was me, Alex, our head of security, and Owen, and another guy. And 3 of the 5 all got sick right at the same time. So it was something in that restaurant. I think it was something in that restaurant. Because some of the waiters were walking around with masks on and some of them didn't. We said, how come some of you aren't wearing masks? They're like, oh, we got vaccinated. Very proud to tell me that they got vaccinated. I'm like, oh. All right, let's get out of here, guys. But we ate and left. And that was a Thursday. Saturday night, I started having symptoms that felt like minor allergies. And then by like Tuesday or Wednesday of that next week, I was like, oh, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask you before I let you go.
Yep.
Operation Warp Speed. Do you give Trump any bail for being the captain of Operation Warp Speed and basically fast tracking the vaccine allegedly? Or how do you view that situation?
Well, I think they already had it. I think they already had the vaccine ready.
Right.
They just needed a cover of an Operation Warp Speed to pull it off. I think they were selling him crap. He had people who could not be trusted. Deborah Birx, Fauci, Bill Gates, the head of NHS Redford or Redstone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think these guys, I think they all played ball with the UN and the WHO. And all these exercises have been done. See, the pre-programming was done years before. And so once you had the pre-programming done, all you had to do is have the initiating event. And these people are like, oh, we have here's our orders right here. Well, the SPARS event was one. You can go look at SPARS. We did a whole 2-hour symposium on that, where they even have tweets that match tweets that went out during COVID.
That's
like the actual social media tweets. And how they were then, and eventually the end of the SPARS document, they figured out this thing was causing problems, this vaccine, and they're going to do better next time. We're almost to that point yet, right now, where there's people calling it out. There's senators who are calling out, but other people are, are just walking it. They love it.
Yeah.
So I give him a little bit of pass because one, he's not a medical doctor. He's a guy that likes the structure. He doesn't like to go around and, he's been in a structure his whole life. So he's used to a structure.
Right.
Where I don't like where he's at now is he still talks about it like it was something good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping at some point he comes out and it says the truth, he was duped. But I don't think he can't say he was duped. That's his pride. That's pride talking to you.
Yeah, that's his ego, yeah.
As Marcellus Wallace used to tell us. That's pride.
Yeah.
So
I think his ego is the reason
he's got
why
a lot
he
of
took
pride.
credit for it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. Hey,
because the
and
Democrats
in his way, they were
it.
going to keep it locked down. And they were going to keep everything. They were going to keep these lockdown orders in place unless he got something going.
Right.
He's like, I'll get it before the election. And then they backstabbed him and said, oh, we don't have it until after the election. They're like, oh, we got it. Joe won. Oh, we got a vaccine. Look at that. But what's funny is you can find videos of all the Democrats going, I'm not going to take that unless it's been tested and this and that.
Right.
And this could be bad. But then the second Biden's in, it's like, well, how come you're not in line for this vaccine? Why are you not taking it? You idiot. So they really ran it. If you look at Lockstep, and I think there was another one a couple years before SPARS, and then the SPARS pandemic, which was like a year and a half, maybe 2 years before COVID actually happened. They war game this stuff out.
Right.
And they do these war games all the time. That's the cover. That's like the cover of the false flag. An incident happens. There happened to be a training scenario over here, a couple miles away, but yet this mass shooting incident happens. And people see multiple people, but then there's only one guy who's down, who happened to be talking online to a former government agent. Well, that's just how it goes. So don't look at that. Don't look at that. That's what gets me. And there's a video out that somebody put out, and it's a sheriff who'd come back and he's given a press conference, about a 30-minute press conference. And he said, Biden won't meet with our Association of Sheriffs. He won't meet with the Association of Police. I just got back from a meeting with the FBI. And it was Chris Wray, I guess, was telling him, whatever that's worth, was telling him that they're having more red flags than they had before 9/11.
Really?
Here, and it's because of the open border. Yeah. So, and I mean, that's obviously logical. You see these Chinese men lining up that all look identical with our identical backpacks and shoes, and they're obviously being infiltrated in. And what's it take to cut an internet line here? Any old dude with a shovel can cut an internet line at this point.
Right.
And there's so much of that. Yeah, there's workarounds, but you get 1,000 people in here that know what they're doing, and they do something, and then all of a sudden, but the FBI has been telling us it's white supremacists that are going to do it, so it's white supremacists. And then they line somebody up, and could be anybody, could be one of these Patriot Front people. They line up and go, "This was the guy that was doing it. Who knew? Well, we told you." And people a lot of people get it now, a lot more than it used to, but we still have a lot of work to do. We can't stop. We can't rest on our laurels because they're not stopping.
Right.
They're looking for their next wedge issue to get in here and get us fighting instead of looking about how we're getting screwed. It's that big fat cat. He's looking at the aquarium, and you got the MAGA person and the pink-haired pussy hat wearer, fighting each other, and he's just sitting back laughing.
Yep.
That's what's going on, people. You got to realize that, and you got to realize that just because we don't agree on every issue, well, there's some issues that are more important. And that was Brett Weinstein's message. I'll give you a little hint. He talks about how he first heard of Alex Jones and how he's been a fan since Occupy.
Okay.
He was watching Alex's coverage of Occupy going, you know, Alex was seeing how the government was taking over this issue. They'd sent their people in to take it over from what the message was. And he didn't necessarily agree with the message, but he was sitting there pointing out what was going on. And he was on the ground seeing that. And he's like, yeah, how come he's the only guy saying this? And there's probably other people saying it, but Alex was, you know, a lot more out there than most people.
I was at
so
Occupy.
He's out there talking about it. You're at Occupy.
I was there.
So did you see how it got taken over?
I mean,
was it the finger snap people that took it over, or who took it over?
In hindsight, I saw how it was being taken over. At the moment, I was caught up in, because at that time I had done my research into central banking, Wall Street, and all of that. Right?
Yeah.
So
they identified the enemy.
Correct.
You know, they identified the enemy, but it was, how do we fix this? That's when the agents came in.
Well, I remember, because it was at Zuccotti Park. I had just got a job in New York City, so I'd get off of work and I'd rush down there to go and, you know, talk to people, right, and argue. And I just remember, like, some of the debates I would have like a crowd of people around me, and I'd be talking, and then some person would come in and ask like this asinine question and sort of like divert the conversation. And my homie Dwayne Henry, he ran press down at Occupy. He was one of the press guys down at Occupy. And I knew him, and he was squeaky clean. But the people living there, you can tell, like, all right, you're a squatter, you look like a Fed. You know, in hindsight, I'm remembering these faces, right? At the time, I was just a kid having fun. But I remember Occupy. Occupy to me was a really important movement, and then it got turned into Black Lives Matter.
That is true. And one of the guys who was a big occupier ended up starting the thing out in Charlottesville. That whole hubbub, yeah.
Okay.
So, and he was an Obama guy who then became a Trump guy overnight. And you know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but he started that event, which is used to this day, which to me wasn't that big deal, a big deal of an event. It was a protest of just like any other of, you know, some people are misguided, some people are being used, and it was a way to get people to clash so we could have a clash on camera and on social media of people fighting.
Right.
And then that's what became, you know, Black Lives Matter, and then those people started fighting with Proud Boys, and I'm not saying any of these groups are necessarily in the wrong, but when those pieces are on the table, you maneuver them to engage, and then you have people there shooting, and they don't have to do anything. You know, they just have to report on the pieces that they want to report on.
Yep.
So there's a lot of information out there, and they just go, "Oh, we don't see the teacher hitting the kid with the bike lock. We don't show you that one. You know, we don't. That one doesn't appear. But you know, the people trying to stop Milo Yiannopoulos from speaking at a college, you know, because he's bringing hate speech. You know, we have people stopping hate speech. We're gonna showcase that, but we're not going to show you when they're beating the ladies out in the parking lot. We're not going to show that part. We're going to say these are anti-fascists that are coming after you, and the anti-fascists are happy for the money that gets them, you know, maybe that other trust fund kids. The kids just lets them continue that endless summer.
Yeah, because they ain't got nothing else better to do. Predictions on the upcoming election. Me and Uncle Hotep, we got this running joke where, like last week, Stephen A. Smith came out and talked against the illegals coming across the border and other notable black celebrities.
Wow, he just found out about that.
Yeah. So, so what me and Uncle Hotep are saying is that these people got the call, and what we're thinking is that Trump has been selected and is going to be selected, not elected, and that there's a strong push for a hard right-wing movement, and you know, Trump will win by a landslide or close to a landslide, but definitely convincing victory. But do you see a Trump win this year, or are you a little bit nervous?
If things stay the way they are, if they stay the way they are, I see a Trump Trump victory, and because of what's going on. But like this immigration bill, Chucky Schumer's out there saying this is Trump's problem now. He didn't want us to pass this immigration bill. He voted no for it in the Senate version. So did Elizabeth Warren. So did Menendez. Why did they vote no? Because some Republicans voted voted yes for it. Mm-hmm. And most of the Republicans voted no, but some did. They're like, oh, they like that because that's cheap labor. But not enough. So some of the Democrats had to jump sides and vote no on it so they could go, look what Trump's not doing. He's not doing anything about the border now. So they could run that little psyop. Right. But that's just a little psyop. And you can go look at their records right there for the bill. I think it's 817 or something. See Chucky Schumer, and he's on TV saying this is Trump's doing. Right. So I think they're gonna line Trump up, then pull the economy out from underneath him. We've got a business crisis, a business property crisis going on, commercial property. I think that's on the heels of dying. When that dies, a bunch of banks are going to get pulled in with it, and they're going to come with more rules, and it's going to allow the people who are above that layer to just grab more stuff, the BlackRock entities to grab more things for pennies on the dollar. And Trump will probably give them a bailout of some sort, but it's on the guise of none of these things. Whatever, if they're going to help me with $100, they're going to help the big guys for $1 million. So I might get a nickel, but it's all going to be chump change in the end. Maybe some people in his administration will be able to talk some sense into him, so like they give him, hey, we're gonna put you back in, but don't go after everybody. Just go after the low level people. Mm-hmm. And he goes, no, I'm going after everybody. That I would like to see. I would like to see a revenge tour, honestly, because I think they didn't ever give him a fair shake in the first part. Do I think he's perfect? No. But he hasn't been holding public office, creating rules and oppressing me, like Joe Biden has. Right. And voting for war and crime bills and all these things to put more shackles on us. Mm-hmm. And while the big guys get to go scot-free and get bailed out, their profits are theirs, their losses are everybody's. Mm-hmm. And so, and that's kind of why Occupy started. People were, that came out of the first financial crisis, which people were predicting. People were running around saying, look, this is going to happen. Yeah. So I think we're on the cusp of another one. I think it was supposed to happen in 2016 with Hillary, 2017, 2018, and it didn't happen because Trump got in there and changed stuff. Yeah. But, his rule, if you put in one regulation, you got to take away two. I want to see that you make one law, you got to take away two laws. Let's see him do that, because I think there's a lot of laws that we don't need anymore. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of government we don't need anymore. Yeah. Do I think a guy like Vivek, and there's the thing, how much power do these guys really have? Right. We saw Trump go in and the bureaucracy just sits in there and goes, well, we're just not going to work. I'm only going to work, I'm going to do crossword puzzles instead of my job. Right. And then, 2 more weeks, we'll work on that. And then 2 more weeks comes by. Well, 2 more weeks, we got this one thing. So they're able to push it down the road. Hey, but before we go, I just want to share, I found this is HEB Pantry from 2001. How much do you think chuck roast costs per pound?
Chuck roast in 2001.
Chuck roast, big piece of meat.
So now what is that? What is it? The Price is Right? Let's see.
Price is Right.
I'm gonna go with $1.50.
87 cents right there. 87 cents a pound. 87 cents a pound. Avocados 2 for $1. Cantaloupe 78 cents. I mean, Bluebell ice cream. How much do you think Bluebell ice cream was? This is Kroger. This is different.
Per
different
pound?
Store.
Today, isn't it like $5?
1 gallon of big old Bluebell ice cream. So you said $5. This was two for $6. Two for $6 right there. 2 for $6.
Damn.
Right there.
I think it's $5 now or $6 now for 1 gallon.
All right. T-bone steak. Good old T-bone. Who doesn't like a T-bone? 2002. What were you paying for a T-bone?
Got to be $8, right?
$3.99 a pound. Wow. So that's where where are we at now? I think it's like $12 a pound now. And this is not because we're not hardworking, industrious people. This is because our way of life is being changed so they can put us in coffin apartments and inject us with whatever they want.
Yeah.
And that's what all these things are. All these things are to take away everything you've ever had in your life. Your way of life is going to change so you can be a cog in some World Economic Forum wet dream.
Yeah.
So people need to definitely wake up and stop worrying about things like Taylor Swift and the NFL.
You're going to be Elon's slave.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Elon is like the salesman of the New World Order now. Where he's
he opened
bought
up
off alternative media.
And he opened up X. And what do I see on X now? All I do is look at messages. It's like they've like, he's the anti-vaccine guy. Let's just throw vaccine people in his timeline and let him argue with them. And so for about 2 weeks, I'm arguing with these people. Like, stupid motherfucker. Let me show them this. Look at this. Okay. You want to see here's the documents. And you're throwing stuff out there and you're defeating these people and they're blocking you. You're like, I'm winning. And then I'm like, wait a minute. This is the algo. The algo is just pushing us to fight more and more.
Yeah.
And so that's all. It's not. And what does it do that I one up some guy on the other side of the planet? What does that do?
Nothing.
That doesn't do anything.
No.
It doesn't do anything. You know what we should be doing is putting information out there, educating people, and then an open hand offering out to those people that think we're crazy and say, why do you think I'm crazy?
Right.
Let's talk about this. Let's find and then hey, you could say the COVID vaccine's great and you can take 8 of them. I don't care. You can take 10 of them. I don't care.
Right.
But if you have a problem, don't come to me saying I'm the one that caused it. You got to look at the real enemy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vivek for VP?
What's that?
Vivek for VP?
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind Vivek for VP. I think he's but he's also got that big pharma shill backing behind him. So, is he, but anybody who has been successful in this world, you don't become successful by sitting on your couch not doing anything. You become successful by going out there and working and you're going to have conflicts with people and your things are going to happen before. So I don't necessarily fault the guy for making money in the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
Even Pharma Bro made some money and, but he was also, I think that drug he bought and was upcharging people on. He was also giving it away for free to people, but they never tell you that.
Okay.
If you called into their company or whatever, but they also don't market that. Like call into the company and we'll help you out with a meal plan.
Right.
But I would like to see him rather than Kristi Noem or Elise Stefanik.
Yeah.
They're low energy people.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the guy, the governor or the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. His last name Richardson.
Okay.
It's a big black guy who likes to just yell about the Second Amendment.
Really?
That's what I want. I want a guy who's going to yell about the Second Amendment.
Is that the one
That's
with the
what I want.
KKK ad?
No. That was a different guy.
Okay.
I think his name's Mark Richardson. I think is his name, and he's the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and he's a Jesus guy, and he talks about God and he talks about guns.
Okay.
And I think we need a little more talking about God and guns in this world than we do about abortion and Taylor Swift.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. For me, it's about 2028. Who's the best candidate to run as president for 2028? And I think Vivek is the best option for the right.
Yeah.
I don't
and I wouldn't even mind Kennedy. I just don't think Kennedy has got the gumption to like really like he knows how to take on these people, and I'd like to see him in the administration.
Yeah.
But I don't think he will do it if he's the leader. I think he'll let a lot of things. He'll be like, well, let's let bygones be bygones and move on. And it's like, no, dude, let's put some motherfuckers in jail who caused all this so they don't go, oh, we can do this anytime we want.
Right.
You put these people in jail, you freeze their assets, you go after the NGOs that are shipping people into this country.
Mm-hmm. With
RICO statutes. That's where the real RICO is going on. There's money flowing into those organizations and they're just shipping people in and going, we don't know. We're just doing God's work. That's not God's work. You are trafficking human beings. And some of them, they get here and they have no place for them. And so they're going back because they're like, this place sucks. And it's like, yeah, we don't have the infrastructure for everybody to come here all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely have, but yeah, I would, to me, get your house in order, have a good source of food, know how to read food labels, eat less processed food, drink water, know how to get medication, know how to take care of yourself, and then show other people how they can take care of themselves. That's what we have to be doing. That's what we have to be doing, because this system don't want any part of us. Okay. We don't want the mind chip. So if we don't want the mind chip, they don't want us. They want augmented reality, because then they could augment reality to be whatever they want it to be.
You see the Apple headphones, eyeglasses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You put those on. I don't think you come back.
No. They say it's rewiring the brain already, and it just can't. And you're going to see that article now and never see that article again. Just like in Wired magazine, it talked about how cell phones cause cancer, brain tumors.
Yeah,
you don't see that anymore. You don't see them talking. They're talking about 5G. Hey, let me ask you this: Has your 5G? Do you feel like anything's any faster?
No,
I feel like I have less internet now. I feel like it drops more. I feel like I have more drop calls. I thought 4G worked fine.
Yeah, LTE was working great. We moved to this 5G shit, and I always got to put my phone on airplane mode, then back on.
To watch a video on Instagram.
Right.
I can't get through a Dr. Sebi video because it stops halfway. It's just like, nope.
Well, I'm glad you said something. I thought it was my phone.
No, man, it's the system. That system is not for us to get information. It's for us to track us. So all that computing power is going into the tracking and the databasing and like, what ad can we give this person? I tell you what, they are good at giving us ads. Because I look at something, I'm like, well, I need that.
Yeah,
I need that.
The ads load faster than everything else.
Ads always play too.
Right.
That YouTube ad video, it plays every time crystal clear. Yep. It gets to your video.
Video won't load.
Yeah.
It's some bullshit. I thought I was the only one. I was like, man, do I got to upgrade my phone? Is this another one of them tricks? This is terrible. My phone, I literally got to put it on airplane mode, then back off, just to sort of reboot its connection with the 5G tower or whatever the hell's going on.
Right.
I'm glad you said something. My fear with the Trump presidency is, like you said, financial collapse, financial ruin. I think it's pretty much inevitable that,
and they blame him.
Well, the step before is the consolidation of banks underneath Citi and JPM, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the first step that is like, hello,
Now, he did say there would be no central digital currency. He did say that, no central bank digital currency, CDBC. So he said that. Who knows? He might, folks, we got to do this. The bankers have come to me and they said, we need our CBDC. And, I kind of believe them now, but I'm going to give you a lot of money, just enough to get by. Don't worry.
Yeah. So the thing with the CBDC is it actually is going to save the dollar. It's just that it's going to enslave us at the same time.
Of course. So should we save the dollar is the question. That's like, do we really? Because, these other BRICS is just for, why don't we just jump in with BRICS? There's all kind of things we could do. BRICS is competition. That's Showtime and HBO. We're HBO. BRICS is Showtime.
Correct.
And some people may not get that reference, but you had to be in the cable wars back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody had HBO. Only a few people had Showtime.
Correct. Yeah.
And nobody had Skinamax.
And
like one guy.
Well, we used to have a box, so we got everything. And you had to upgrade the box, because it was hacking.
Tap the box, blow on the box, all kind of things.
Yeah. But I saw something in the legislation in the EU and maybe even in America where they're trying to set it up so that it's illegal to transact in, let's say, the digital ruble or the digital rupee or the
ECNY. In cash, only a certain amount. You can only do like 1,000 euros in cash, and then it's tracked. I think it might have been 500 euros, which is not that much money nowadays.
Yeah,
and like anything over that, it's got to be logged and somehow, and they're thinking that's good. And it was the Russian pranksters that called it. They said they were going to bring it out in October of last year, and that's when they started introducing it. They didn't put it into effect, but they got von der Leyen on the phone thinking she was talking to Zelensky, and he's like, "What do you think of Bitcoin?"
That was with the AI thing.
No, these Russian pranksters were pretending like they were Zelensky.
Oh,
and they called her up. And you can find this online. And they're asking her, she says, well, we're going to start talking about it in October of 2023. And sure enough, boy, right on schedule, they start talking about the euro, the digital euro.
Yeah.
And that's all about tracking. All of this is about tracking because they don't have enough control over us at this point.
That's
because, when they can tell you, hey, your money don't work if you don't get the shot. You go get the shot, you scan your barcode, your money starts working. You see how that works?
Right.
Oh, you want to eat? That's one last one. Valencia oranges. How many? What do you get for 10 of them? How much do you think Valencia oranges cost back in 2001?
So 10 Valencia oranges right now, I think I'm paying maybe $4.50, maybe $5. So back then it had to be, let's say a dollar.
Right on. $1.
$1?
10 Valencia oranges, $1.
Wow.
Easy.
10
pound bag of potatoes.
10 pound of potatoes?
Yeah, 10 pound bag of potatoes.
Let's go with $3.50.
$2.49.
$2.49.
Right.
Wow.
We were both alive then. I remember 9/11. This is the day after 9/11. This is the day after 9/11.
I remember 9/11.
They've and it's not that these things have gotten more expensive. Our dollar is less valuable, and I know you talk about that. That's all it is. It's
thank you.
The dollar is our dollar now is worth like 10 cents,
right,
compared to what it was worth back then.
Yeah. That's exactly.
And they're just going to keep squeezing us until they could get their digital currency because that's the last bastion of control.
The second to last, because the last is the chip.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But they kind of go hand in hand. Because in the European Union, when they talk about the digital currency, they always mention the digital ID.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the digital ID is on your phone at first, but you lose your phone. You don't want to lose your phone, so let's just put it under your skin.
Correct.
At first it was just for making copies and opening doors, but now it's for living.
Yep.
But, before that, they've got everybody thinking that, breathing carbon dioxide is bad, so that's the other. They're hitting us on all fronts. And that's why it's so interesting now, because it's all happening. And we're from a generation that didn't grow up on the internet. So we have abilities and skills that the people underneath us don't have.
Correct.
And so they're a lot more easily manipulated because they didn't have that, riding your bike to your friend's house, coming home when the street lights were on, knowing how to read a map, knowing how to write down directions, memorizing phone numbers. I still remember my phone number from when I was a kid. And they don't have that. They have everything's on their computer that they hold in their hands, and it tells them what to think, what to do, and where to go do it. And if you're not paying, the toll, you're going to be in the digital wasteland. So that's it. So hey, we did an hour and 31. That's pretty good.
Yeah, hell yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Number one on the FBI watch list, Rob Dew. Rob, thank you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on. We'll be right back. We'll take some callers. I'm going to let Rob go, and I'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan.
That was Rob Dew from Infowars. Shout out to the Hotepistan. Shout out to the Hotep Nation. We're about to flex our financial power in a bit. Make sure you join the Telegram group with the link in the description box below. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. And then we'll take a couple of callers here today. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Jesse Aaron said many jabs weren't aspirated, improper injections. Okay. Jesse Aaron says selling the chip as a medical breakthrough, an Oscar Wilde quote came to mind. They promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too. Oh man. Damn. What's going on in the Rumble chat? Is it? Y'all didn't. There's some infiltration over on the Rumble chat. Look like y'all swatted somebody. Thank you. Get their asses out of here if they acting up. Salute. Hold on, let me check the phone lines. Let's get in here. Oh, Strong Dad's calling. I need Strong Dad calling. We gotta talk to Strong Dad about something. This shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. Absolutely insane what I seen today. We're gonna talk about it as soon as he calls in. Chat, what you think about that interview? You guys enjoy that? Thumbs up in the chat if you enjoyed that. Lauren says, so grocery prices have increased around 500 to 600%. Ain't that about a bitch? But your wages haven't. Vivek gonna support the mind chip? You think so? And we got Goldstein coming in next.
Strong Dad.
Strong Dad, welcome. Happy Monday. Listen, dog.
Hey.
Listen. So check this out, chat. So Strong Dad calls into the show Friday. We start arguing about creatine, right? So I'm sitting at home later on in the weekend, and, you know, I realized the Grifties are around the corner. And I was just like,
what you about to do, man?
Hold on. So I said, you know, I'm like, okay, Grifties are around the corner. He told me this stuff, creatine, is supposed to, you know, beef you up. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me go ahead, throw this creatine together and do this shit for the next month. Fuck it. What do I got to lose? You know what I'm saying? So the creatine comes, right? So this morning, I open up my creatine package and I go to scoop the shit out. When I open the package, y'all, this shit looked like Pablo's finest. This shit looked like pure cocaine. 100% uncut. That Medellin. Strong Dad, what the hell you got me? I was like, I had to pause. I was like, I ain't never seen no powder this white in my life.
HJ.
I done had protein powders across the board. You hand me this creatine and this shit is stark white. I ain't never seen flour this white. What is this shit, dog?
It's creatine.
It's creatine.
Listen, let me tell you what. When I very first started taking creatine, I thought the same exact. The first bottle I opened up, I was like, "Oh snap! What is this?" You know what I'm saying?
I was about to snort the motherfucker. I had to read the directions.
Reaction.
I'm like, "Yo, am I supposed to snort this shit? What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?"
Yeah, your reaction was my reaction, definitely. So that's just how it looks, man. That's just how it looks. Nothing I can say.
All right. I'm going to take one scoop a day.
Okay, good. I was going to say, make sure you don't do that loading phase crap, like I said in the message. So it's not needed. If you take it long enough, you don't need to load it to see the results. And that's the whole purpose. So you're perfectly fine just taking one scoop a day. And I mean, to be honest, you know, with that Apex, you know, it might just push things over the edge, man. Listen, man, what's up? Is this stuff gonna get me my natty card revoked when I do my drug test for the show? Because I'm feeling some kind of way when I'm taking this stuff.
The Apex?
That's all I'm saying. Yes,
nigga. You feeling some type way, nigga? I've been on it. I'm on my second week now.
No. So here's the thing: the last time we talked, I said it's been a week, but no, it arrived 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yesterday was 2 weeks officially of me actually ingesting it. So
Right.
I was, you know what I'm saying?
You felt it?
And I noticed that something was different. I noticed something was starting to change, at least on the hormonal level, because I typically don't have like BO. I typically don't smell at all.
Right.
And that started to change a little bit. I actually started to have more of a body odor in the morning. That's never happened. And I use black soap, so I get clean. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I
that's
was
the
like,
toxins
something's obviously got to be a little different. Yeah. So no, but listen, man. All I'm saying is, you know, I checked the water list and they said all the ingredients were cool. So you know what I'm saying? If they're like, listen, man, is this? You know what I'm saying? What are you taking here? This is illegal. We don't know what this is.
Right.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Nigga, I'm on week 2 of Apex. I can't even describe how the fuck I ain't never felt like this shit in a day of my life. You know, I feel like I'm 21 again. So I started doing the research, you know, like deeper research than previously, right? And really what I'm coming to find out is scientists don't even know what the fuck's going on. Like I said in the interview with Rob, they're looking at these things that are happening and they're like, people are receiving benefits of a testosterone boost without a testosterone boost. And they're like, we don't know why.
Yeah, I think supplements it's hard to research how well they work because you have to be able to create enough of a variety of conditions while also having a control across the board. And that makes it really hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, people say that people generally don't know what they do or eat, even though they say they do. And when you ask them to write it down, there's so much discrepancy. And so it makes it hard for them to create great results that they can say this or this doesn't work.
Right.
So it's, you know, I feel like when it comes to supplements, people should gauge how they respond on it. Obviously, given it's not something inherently dangerous, you know, but they should gauge their response level and determine if the product is effective for them. Because like a ashwagandha, is it ashwagandha?
Yeah, ashwagandha.
I think it's ashwagandha. I've taken that before. And what people feel, I haven't felt, but you know, the combination of the things that are in Apex so far, I've felt something different. So I really do believe that, you know, people should learn how to study themselves and find better to get the results they want.
So, you know, doing a deeper dive into the research this weekend, what I realized was, first of all, that our main ingredients, milky oats, black maca root, and the other ones are very effective as well, but those particularly were used by ancient military, you know, ancient Aztec, you know, medieval times was using milky oats before they went into battle. Aztec warriors were using, not Aztec warriors, the Incan warriors were using the black maca before they went into war, and using it for libido, using it for hormonal imbalance. If they had a hormonal imbalance, this is some of the stuff that's happening. We come to find out that one of our ingredients, fenugreek, was buried with King Tut, and was used throughout Egyptian medicine. But some of these, but some of these studies I'm reading, you know, I read one study where it said they had three different groups, and one of them was placebo, obviously, and then they had the other two groups, and you know, I think one was on 8-week, one was on 12-week. And what they found was that with the introduction of, I believe it was Tonkat Ali. That was a Tonkat Ali study. They found that there was a boost in libido, and there was a boost in testosterone, unlike the placebo group, but it was more of a testosterone balance, I believe the study said. But it's remarkable what these plants can do, what these old roots and herbs can do for the body. It's just like, I'm reading these studies and I'm like, I see why Big Pharma don't want competition.
Absolutely. It's speaking of big pharma, man. Out of all of the white dude talking heads you interview, because I'm very judgmental, and typically I don't like these dudes, but I kind of like this dude. There
Rob's
was a few things that, what I'm saying, there's a few things I was like, but on the whole, I feel like he won me over when he said, what I've been saying, what we've all been saying, which is that some of this shit does not matter, especially when he's like the Taylor Swift shit and all this shit doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like that's something that just needs to just be drummed into people's heads. That some of these things are they have little importance. He talked about the CBDCs. You know what I'm saying? He talked about vaccines. These things are more important. That whole conversation made me feel like I wish that I had added that in we had a birth plan. That was the one thing I never added in, was when she goes out of the room, I go out of the room. Never even thought about that, man. And that right there, that was useful information. Very respectful. I like that guest. That dude was definitely hitting, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about who he is in the rest of his sphere, but at least here in this conversation, he won me over, way more than any of the other guys that you talk to, you know what I'm saying, that on the outside.
No, Rob is really cool. He works alongside Alex Jones, has done a bunch of work with Alex Jones as far as editing, et cetera, et cetera. Really cool dude. Me and Rob have been in touch, several times. He's one of the reasons why I've been on Infowars. He's invited me out. Really cool dude. Rob, he's a solid cat.
Yeah, no, I liked it. And yesterday, was that yesterday? Last week. Y'all was talking about Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Man, what the fuck y'all know about Circuit City, man?
Circuit City came after Radio Shack.
Yo, Circuit City was my jam. My dad used to take me to Circuit City.
But before Circuit City, it was Comp USA.
He used to take me there too. My dad used to work for Xerox, so he was always in the computer store. He was always in the tech store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Comp USA. I used to work at Comp USA. They used to make us sell people the warranties. That's how they made money.
One of them slimy niggas.
Yo, listen. Yeah. They used to have like quotas, right? You had to meet a quota before you got paid commission. I never met quota, yo. I never met quota because I felt like a sleazeball. I'm like, yo, I'm not about to put all this stuff on. I used to tell my people they used to buy equipment, like computer equipment. I'd be like, look, just put it on this. And like the actual CPU. I'm like putting it on, the monitor and this and that. And you don't need to do all of that. And I used to always come under, man. I just felt like shit. Like, why are we throwing, the surge protector? They wanted to throw the surge protector underneath the warranty plan. I'm like, yo, you just go out and buy the surge protector, bro. Like, really? But that was their business model because they didn't make any money off of. It was a very small margin on the computer equipment because they were getting it, basically selling it at cost.
I miss all them days, man. The Blockbuster, all that shit.
Yeah, those are the good old days.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there? This is not even related. This is a generation question. Okay. Because I was talking to my wife about this the other day. Is there shouldn't there be a name for the people born in between Gen Z and millennials where there was like a technological change, or isn't there already a name?
Well, there's Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials, right?
Right, but the millennial. I've been looking at the descriptor for the millennials, but there's like a space in time where the things that millennials have, these people don't have, but they're not in the same space as the Gen Zers.
Let's put this on a screen. Hold on. I'm going to tell you in just a second what we got here. So, boomers, 1944 to 1964. Gen X, 1965 to 1979. Millennial, 1980 to 1994. I'm just doing some quick math on the differences here. So that's 20 years. It's about 15. It's about 15. what's this one? 1995 to 2015 is about 20. So you're saying there should be a gap where?
I feel like there should be a gap in the 80s category. I feel like because I look at, so when I was young, I watched cell phones, video game systems show up. The internet existed, but the internet that I know is different than the internet someone, 5 or even, 5 years younger than me knows.
Yeah, we know desktop internet. They know mobile internet.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's maybe I'm just pulling hairs. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. Also, my wife, she's been having a lot of Hotep rage lately.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I know, I love it. Yo, every time she goes on these rants, my heart just fills with joy. That's when you know you're about to go through a transformation, when you start having that Hotep rage. You're about to level up. Yeah, it fills with joy. But so last night, her Hotep rage was focused at what people, like the distinction between these, like the T people and white people, and how the things, all these mass shootings and all these things happening by them, they're trying to pawn off as this is a rainbow issue, and she believes that this isn't a rainbow issue, it's a white issue. And she went even deeper. She started yapping about how she can't be conservative because conservatives piss her off, but she wants to be conservative. All of these things, which indicates to me that she's about to change. You know what I'm saying? She's about to enter a new world. Maybe she's at the Koofy shop right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's good news, right? She's questioning things. That's always good, right? We always want our people to be questioning things. So let's break that down. So the first part I want to break down is, conservative, right? There's conservative, the clique, conservative Inc. Then there's being conservative, right? You don't have to declare being conservative. Like that's not something that's what I said. Yeah, you don't want to declare that, because then that puts you in groupings with people that you just don't have nothing in common with, right? Yeah. I was like, you don't have to. You are conservative. You don't have to join up with these idiots. You could just be who you are, and you'll be more conservative than they are. Yes. The other thing is this a white people thing? My view is that it's a luxury thing. It's an empire that has reached extreme luxury, and now what comes of that is lecherous and debaucherous acts. It's too much freedom. There's no structure, right? Whereas you look at empires of the past, there were strict adherence to guidelines. Typically how a family functioned, typically how they treated homosexuality, etc. Customs. Also, what you had was public shaming, where, if your daughter got pregnant before her time, people looked at her funny. This is more like 1950s, right? Because prior to 1950, people were getting married at the age of 16 and whatnot, right? So, but if it was out of wedlock, for example, you looked at a harlot. Nowadays, it's part of, being sexually free to have premarital sex. So I don't think it's a white people thing. I think it's mental health. Oh, it's definitely mental health, but I think it's an American thing. It's this land, when it was created, was supposed to be sort of like a free zone, right? Where we're not going to govern your religion. We're not going to govern your daily acts and, how you interact. And we're always going to protect your so-called freedoms. And then you get the brainwashing through Hollywood, TV, and music, which is all about liberation, and, various things that degrade a culture, demoralize a culture. And then now you get what we get now. But then you cannot remove the effects of drugs and food. and the hormonal things that are happening to people's bodies. You're starting to see a shift in men, low testosterone. That's why we had to produce Apex to bring about hormonal imbalance. So, and again, like I said, when I was researching the Apex, they were saying some people are not seeing a boost in testosterone, but they're seeing testosterone-like results. And they found it in the
access to free testosterone. That's probably what that is.
No, it was just the results were popping up. It had nothing to do with the hormones. It was just the results were there. It had nothing to do with hormones, although you could be right, because what they were saying, it was what gland? Hold on, let me look up the glands. Hold on. Endocrine gland. I used to know these by heart. I believe it was, I think it was the thyroid. Yeah. I think they started seeing results in the thyroid. Definitely the adrenal, but they started seeing something happening with the endocrine gland system. And then if you know anything about endocrine gland system, it governs, the creation and release of hormones, right? So when you deal with processed foods, and processed foods are these things that disrupt and put your hormones out of harmony, the result is gay frogs.
Okay.
So it's definitely first world problems. I wouldn't say it's a white people thing because it's different types of white people. You don't see this shit in Russia. If it was a white people thing, you'd see it in Russia.
They're not acting up like that out there.
Oh, hell no.
Mm-mm. No, they in line. That's and it ain't happening in Sweden.
Right.
They all white.
Correct.
In Norway, they all white.
Yes. And those places like Sweden and Norway sort of have a set culture and a way of they do things a lot different than we do. I did a little bit of reading on it, but they're very much community based, whereas America's all about the individual and individualism and all of that.
I like the setup of the prison system in Sweden. Pretty sure it's Sweden. It's something that's actually geared towards legitimate rehabilitation and reintegration. They're actually trying to make a turnover on good citizens and not just, bring in people and keep them there till they're at their worst, let them go, and then recapture them when they kill somebody.
Yeah. But the control design, according to my philosophy and theory, is designed to make you say, this is a white people thing. And I joke around and I use that term like, that's some white people shit. And sometimes I'm serious and sometimes I'm not. But the control design is to make you say, this got to do with white people. And it's just like, not exactly. Because they was doing some freaky
division tactic, really.
It's definitely a division tactic because they was doing some freaky shit in Persia too, So it's definitely it's definitely a divide and conquer tactic, right? They want to keep tensions high between whites and blacks and get your blood boiling, and it's very easy to do because of our history.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take this back to her. You know what I'm saying?
And if you look at this motherfucker on the screen right now, this motherfucker right here, they don't look white to me. I think this is a Hispanic person, but they classify them as white as well.
I just saw that a little bit ago. Didn't that have to happen today, right? At Joel Osteen's church.
Yeah, they identified the shooter.
Man. Yeah. Man, you can't even praise God in a mega church, man. That's
Nope.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's where we at. Where we at, y'all?
Yeah.
Hey man, I appreciate everything. This is awesome.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna chat soon. Let me get Goldstein in here. Appreciate you, bro.
Shout out, Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. We got a new article going up from Colin Goldstein. We got hold on. Strong Dad's got a new article going up tomorrow on Men of Water. because supplements are not going to do it all. I don't want to sit up here and tell you, hey, you take these supplements, you're going to have great things. No, you got to do some shit along with them.
Call from
Murphy's. I said this before. Do not buy supplements from Men of Order and then sit on your ass and do nothing. It's not going to do anything. You have to get up. You're going to have to move. You're going to have to use your body. You're going to have to use your brain. You're going to have to work out to get these benefits. Otherwise, the stuff sits in your system and passes through. But when you get the heart rate up, it starts moving through the body. So you have to be an active person. If you're not going to be an active person, do not touch our supplements. If you are an active person or want to be an active person, take our supplements. I'm telling you, you're going to feel like Superman. We got the article from Strong Dad going up tomorrow. Bulking, cutting, and maintaining. So look out for that. Goldstein, what's up, man? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Y'all out there practicing sorcery?
Who's practicing sorcery?
You and Strong Dad.
How?
Bumping creatine and Harambe roots and some more shit.
Harambe roots. Listen, we try and get right, bro.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yo, I opened the damn can and the shit looked like cocaine. I said, what the fuck Strong Dad got me taking?
Bruh, let me tell you, man. I have an extensive fucking drug history. I will say that much. But ever since I've decided to straighten my shit out, almost 12 years clean now.
Okay, congrats.
I don't fuck with nothing because I have, after, I don't know, numerous forays into anger management, I have learned about myself that I will never be able to get rid of my unreasonable anger. I have, however, found out how to manage my unreasonable violence as a result of that anger.
Okay.
So I can't fuck with Apex.
Really?
That'll knock me all the way off.
Really?
I don't need no excess energy, bro.
I feel you. I could see how it could make one relapse because just the taking of pills, right? I could see that.
Yeah.
But if you taking big pharma, you definitely gotta try this shit.
Yes, if you're already in that mold, you gotta fuck with something like Apex more so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, myself, I can't do it.
I understand.
Can't do it.
I can see it. I can see why. I can see why somebody would relapse. Absolutely.
Now, as far as the stream today, fantastic motherfucking stream.
Thank you. Yeah, Rob was great.
I agree with Strong Dad. Yeah, I agree with Strong Dad. I like the dude. However, I'm sitting here and it's boggling the fuck out of my mind. I don't know what's boggling my mind more. The fact that I actually hit 1,000 followers on Twitter or the fact that you didn't get zapped off of YouTube midway through that interview.
You got to read the terms and conditions.
Man.
See, YouTube only care when you bring Dr. Peter McCullough on. That motherfucker get your channels zapped, you know? Or if you tell them something against WHO, then they be on your ass.
Jeez.
But they changed their TOS since, everybody started complaining. But congratulations on your 1,000 followers. Welcome. The first 1,000's the hardest to get. Everything's breeze after that.
Oh, yeah. It's global domination from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Now, I know you didn't really touch on it, and I'm pretty sure you're saving the bulk of it for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to say just one thing about yesterday's proceedings.
Okay.
I learned yesterday more than anything else that this country and the people in it, for the most part, especially those who claim to be going to heaven, are some of the most satanic motherfuckers you will ever meet.
Why you say that?
Well, How in the fuck are you going to castigate a goddamn song that speaks expressly about what God has done for a people and put that second place behind a fucking song that praises the state?
You talking about the Black National Anthem?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about one song is about war and government, the other one's about God.
That's right. How are you going to look straight-faced at yourself in the mirror talking about I praise the Lord and get mad at that?
Mm.
You're being governed by the devil. That's why. Your spirit has been hijacked.
That's a hell of a claim.
You may want to take stock, Christian conservatives, on what the fuck is really important. Your party, your race, your country, or your goddamn everlasting soul.
So Patriot J says here, I got on the screen, he says, white people seething. This is hilarious. Y'all niggas are so soft these days. And I'm pretty sure this has to do with the response to. So what about the fact that they're saying, you know, this is DEI and it's dividing the country based upon race and all of that? You don't think there's any merit to those arguments?
Yeah, there may be. But here's the thing. And this is what I'm tired of these motherfuckers doing. You sit here and you talk about how, like, as it pertains to like the shooting at Olstein shit recently. You sit here and you talk all day and night about how these motherfuckers are mentally fucked up, how they got issues, how they got problems, how they're sick in the head. They're usually either just fucked off in the head or clinically insane when it goes into the realm of shooting shit up or cutting chunks off of themselves, right? So this is what you do. You point this out, how fucked up these people are sick, right? And yet you will shoot at them instead of the motherfuckers that prop that up. You sit here and you talk about how black folks are putting out a black nationalist anthem and how, oh, there's so much crime and the world is being fucked up by Pookie and them, right? But you'll shoot at them as if they're the enemy instead of the motherfuckers who prop up the bullshit. And if anybody should know this, it should be a fucking conservative, especially the 2A types. It's not the fucking gun, you idiot. It's the motherfucker holding it.
Right.
So here you are pointing at the gun. All this shit is the motherfucking root of all your goddamn problems. You're sitting here pointing at the gun the entire time, whether it comes in the form of black criminal statistics, trans motherfuckers, DEI, you name it. You're sitting here pointing at the gun. You never once bother to fucking focus on the person holding it.
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
You know, my rebuttal to the national anthem argument is the national anthem is not a part of the NFL because the NFL decided to be patriotic. It's there because the United States government pays for it to be there. That is a paid marketing campaign. And people want to make it seem like, oh, this is some patriotic moment. NFL don't give a fuck about no patriotism. They care about that check coming from the United States military that says, listen, we need to increase patriotism. We need to increase trust in government, enrollment in military, or whatever else they got up their sleeve. And that's why that's a part of it. So when the government turns around and grabs black people and puts their national anthem up there, and you saying, well, you can't say one is bad and one is good because both of them was put there as an op. So if you're going to be mad about one, you got to be mad about both.
That's right. That's right. Whatever ill you conceive is coming from this fucking song, then don't point at the goddamn song. Point at the motherfuckers who are wielding the gun, the government.
But, you know,
just...
the argument is that there's one America, and black people need to celebrate that one America. We, as black people, we haven't exactly had the red carpet rolled out for us to be included in this America. Now, legally, we are American. Are we American? No, we're not American people. We're not treated as Americans. America has never been kind to us, whether it's been a Republican or a Democrat in office. America has never been kind to us, except for Trump. That was pretty fun. And I made a lot of money during Obama's first administration and Clinton's too. But as a whole, because Clinton, he's the one that got all this outsourcing shit happening now. But as a whole, America's never been good to black people specifically. Now, you can make an argument they haven't been good to anybody, but they haven't been good to black people specifically. All we got to do is just flash back to World War I, which in some cases was a good thing, where they wouldn't let black people fight. That was just World War I. World War II, we got segregation right there they didn't think we were equals. Then in the South of America, again, Jim Crow, all of those laws. So when you fast forward and we got like, yo, this our song. That's our song. Even though I hate the motherfucking song, this is our song. And we're going to play this song during the national anthem. And I think a lot of this ain't even NFL. I think this is more of Jay-Z's doing, right? And this is intelligent. This is intelligent marketing by the NFL saying nobody talk about sports more than the Negro. And if the Negroes got a song that they call their national anthem, it makes sense from a marketing perspective to include it to keep them loyal to that product that is the football league. Yeah, so you can look at it from a culture perspective, but the NFL ain't supposed to be driving culture. And that's the problem. They looking at the NFL like the NFL is a government entity. This is a privately owned corporation. This is a privately owned corporation. So whatever, so they're like, oh my God. See, that's the problem. See, Americans have been brainwashed. The red whites have been brainwashed into thinking the NFL is American. Now, the NFL was created in America, but it's not American. It was marketed to you to make you feel like it's an American thing. That's why they had the military pay. If the NFL was an American thing, you wouldn't have to pay to put your national anthem in there, but you had to pay because NFL is running a business. So you're looking at it like, oh, this is America's greatest pastime. I know baseball is America's pastime, whatever, but this is America's greatest pastime, and this is our sport, and they're injecting wokeness into, well, it's a corporation. They have to do what's best for their product. And if black people are its product, as you know, with the numbers that occupy the teams and occupy commentators, if black people are included, you might want to include their culture. So to me, from a business perspective, it makes sense. Now, last thing I'm going to say is NFL is not culture. The NFL wants to be culture. The NFL needs culture to drive it. That's why Taylor Swift was involved, because the NFL was dying and they had to pull on Taylor Swift to breathe life back into this corporation. They had to pull on Jay-Z to breathe life back into this corporation. And that's why they had the Black National Anthem. They looked at culture to bring life back to the business, whereas everybody's looking at the business as if it's culture, and that means you're in love with a product. Who the fuck falls in love with a product?
Right.
That means these people were brainwashed and sold a dream that didn't exist. How are you in love with the product of NFL? That's like being in love with Caesar's Gladiator games. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's right. And truth be told, that whole fucking take on the shit being a product extends past the NFL straight to this motherfucking land of ours. So, but that might be too much for them.
Wait, what do you mean?
This country's a product.
Correct. That's way too much for them. They're not even ready. They're not ready for that either. Right.
Yeah. So, last time I checked, though, everything that song represents, because I don't believe black, nigga, or African American is anywhere in the song.
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But the shit that shit actually represents, if you listen to it and read the words, is a lot more important than shooting motherfucking cannons over a fucking river.
Correct.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Somebody in the chat wasn't listening, so I'm gonna help him out a little bit here. He says, black people are not the ticket buyers. Trust me. Do we make it cool? Yes, but we're not running to buy those expensive ass tickets. Ghostin, I gotta ask you, did I say anything about black people buying tickets?
Nope.
Do you remember what I said?
You said black people talk the most about sports.
Correct. I said we the most talkingest niggas. I ain't say nothing about going to the field.
That's right.
I said we are on the field and talk about the field. I ain't say nothing about them tickets. We drive ticket sales. That don't mean we buying the tickets. and much of them tickets are purchased by corporations. They'll buy whole blocks and give them away as gifts. Or they'll have
the Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club. The gifts to, let's say this is a corporate day where everybody gets a day off and they go watch the game, and you'll go watch the game as an office. So a lot of them are corporate sales for groups. So, don't believe the hype that these are just individual sales. These a lot of those are bulk sales too.
Yeah. Listen, chatter. Whoever said that, chatter, listen up. All right. I'm going to talk slow because you may be still angry. Pick that shit up out of your ears. Pick the fucking emotions up out of your ears, because he said it in as simple English as you could possibly fucking say it, and you missed it. So you got to ask yourself, why is that?
Correct. Why is that? Because they ain't on flow. That's why. Go get your flow right now, man. Improve your fucking ADHD. I'm sorry, your attention span. All right,
man. All right, man. I'm gonna let you get to your day, though.
All right, yo. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill.
So they arguing in the. Oh, I didn't close the. Oh shit! I didn't close the wrong window. That was Goldstein on the check-in. They arguing over on the Rumble. Victor 2020 says, I see more black supremacists than I see white supremacists out here. How? Where? Victor 2020 says, I'm not mad. I just don't take some shit that excludes me nationally serious. Y'all crying. All right, Victor's in his emotions. We're going to let Victor just seethe, as Patriot J mentions here. We're just going to let him seethe because the phone lines are open and people talk all that shit in the chat. 202-596-5631. I never hear y'all make an oral argument. You be typing. You got the Twitter fingers. You got YouTube fingers. You got Rumble fingers. You ain't picking up that phone, though. So I just, it just sounds like y'all might be feds. Y'all might be the feds. That's all that. That's what that looks like to me. You motherfuckers is ops. All right. I'm just gonna have to do that. I'm just gonna have to reduce you to an op until further notice. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It's just that's how we're gonna have to categorize you. It just makes things simpler that way. Today, say you love being white and where it goes. Say you love being black and you are a hero. That's always the weirdest argument to me when y'all come with that, cuck attitude. You could say you happy to be white. Y'all just scared to say this shit, and that's why they get away with it.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Ain't nobody scared of y'all. It's your white cousins that tell you you're not allowed to be pro-white. Black folks ain't telling you ain't allowed to be pro-white. That's your white cousins. That's an infighting issue you got to resolve with your cousins. You can't bring that argument to me. That's your cousins that said that. That's your cousins that ruined your legacy. That's your cousins that ruined your reputation. That's what that is. That ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Jonah, go ahead, call in, man. Who is this? Like Sonny Johnson says, that's your cousins. You gotta talk to your white liberal cousins, your white progressive cousins. They the ones that's laying down the rule book. I see plenty of successful white people out here saying they're proud to be white, and nothing ever happens to them.
Call from to accept.
Jonah.
Good, what's good?
Oh, you gotta call me from the other phone, bro. This is the underwater phone.
No, you got poor Wi-Fi right now. But
I can't hear you, man. You sound like you all the way in the woods. You gotta call back on a better phone. I don't know. And why are we arguing about it on a national stage? Nope, I don't think anybody was arguing about this shit on the national stage. They chose, Jay-Z and them went into the offices of the NFL after Kaepernick fumbled the bag. They had a meeting and they came out and said, we got a huge black audience. There's black people on that football field. It will be a really good idea to play their national anthem. Jay-Z did that shit. You think them white folks in the NFL office knew about Lift Every Voice and Sing? No, they ain't know about that damn song. Uncle Hotep didn't even know about the damn song. You think the white folks in the NFL knew about that? No, that's Jay-Z and them went up there and made that call. Again, a corporation. And y'all think the corporation is supposed to represent your interests. That shit is weird to me. Oh, the NFL went woke. What? It's a corporation. Why are you upset? Stop buying the tickets. Stop watching. Done. Simple. Why are you arguing over Taylor Swift? Read My Soul says, I thought it was just a gospel song. It was always told to me that it was the Black National Anthem. As growing up, like I said, in my family union, they sing it every year, and they introduced it as the Black National Anthem. I grew up with the song. I hate the song. It sounds very sad, and it just makes me feel like a slave when I sing the song. This year at the family union, I'm going to excuse myself from the room when the song goes off. I'm just going to pretend I got to use the bathroom. Like I got diarrhea or some shit, and I'm just going to leave because I hate the song. But I don't get to call the shots for all black people. You know? And if that's what, our generations past have decided it is what it is, it is what it is. If blacks have their own national anthem, then what makes them American? Then let's all have a national anthem and keep separating ourselves solely based on race forever. Lord have mercy. First of all, the Black National Anthem existed when black people weren't considered Americans. It has an origin in a time we were treated unfairly. It wasn't like we just invented that shit in 2021. No. Matter of fact, let's see what year it was. Let's see what year. 1900. 1900, often referred to as a Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, was a hymn written as a poem by NAACP leader James Weldon Johnson in 1900. All right? So it's over a 100-year-old song. So this shit wasn't created yesterday. Protocol said legit came at the beginning of the segregation era. So you're asking about a song talking about are we all Americans, but the song was created at a time when we definitely did not feel like Americans. I just told you weren't even allowed to fight in World War I. And what year was World War I? 1914 to 1918? I don't know. I can't remember. Let me see. 1914 to 1918. World War I. Okay. Yeah, tell Victor call in. Right. So he says, if blacks have their own national anthem, what makes them American? You know what makes us American? Legal status. Legal status. The ID, the passport, birth certificate. So you got culture and you got state government, pretty much. All right, here we go, Jonah.
Call from.
It's Jonah.
Jonah, what's up, man?
Yeah, is this one working?
Nope.
Yeah, none of my shit's working. I sent you something on Instagram, anyways. So that's all that you need.
Check my Instagram?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to check it now.
Shit's fucked up right now.
All right, say less. Let me check it now. You over there DJing and shit. I'm going to check it now. All right. Hold on a second. Let me check Instagram. Let's see what's going on. Jonah said he sent me something. I don't even think I got Jonah as a friend. Did you send it on Instagram or? I don't see Jonah here. Jonah, send the link to my Twitter. Send a link to my Twitter. And the thing is, I'm not even one of those black people that like to complain about Jim Crow and all of that. I just tell what history is. I'm going to call and say, this is what happened at the time. This is how the people felt at the time. Now, a nigga like me, in 1899, I'm not writing no goddamn song called Lift Every Voice and Sing. My shit going to be Lift Every Gun and Let That Motherfucker Sing.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
We knocking niggas blocks off. Oh, I ain't human? Holeless. I'm not singing no woe is me songs. That's that NAACP shit. So I'll tell you about the other side of the damn argument. NAACP coming up with these weak ass hymns. Now that's an argument we could talk about. Why is NAACP coming out these weak ass woe is me bitch ass hymns? That's an argument we could have. Now, trying to figure out why it existed, that's one thing. That's one thing. I know why it existed. Because niggas was going through some shit. All I'm saying is, if I wrote the motherfucking song, it would have said, lift every gun and let the motherfucker ring. Let it sing. Lift every gun and sing till everybody dead. That's how the shit would have sounded to me. I put a hole in ass. It'd have sounded different. That's all I'm saying. Kamar Daniel said, I still say Many Men is a black national anthem. So you see what I'm saying? Like, but we can't. The thing is, white people like Victor want to have they just want us to forget the past. And it's just like, y'all don't forget the past when it comes to communism. As soon as communism pops up today, y'all quick to call out Stalin. Y'all quick to call out Lenin. 1913, Bolshevik Revolution. Y'all quick to call that shit out. So it's okay to flash back then on communism and other things so we can learn from past and history. But as soon as it comes to black people, just get over it. When it comes to Jews, they go back to 1944 and the Holocaust. Y'all don't tell them to forget about it, get over it. But as soon as it comes to black people, and we got a tradition that stems from struggle, that stems from oppression, y'all need to get over it. Why? Because you feel guilty? Because your white cousins is holding it over your head? Nah, you got some cleaning up to do. That shit ain't on us. Lift every gun and ring is crazy.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Facts. Lauren, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. My song would have been called "Put a Hole in a Cracker Ass." That's what my song would have been called. Put a hole in a cracker. You know what I'm saying? I'm a different kind of nigga. I'm the type of nigga I am is I'm quite peaceful. I'm very peaceful, in fact. I don't condone any type of violence. I'm very non-confrontational. I am. I don't believe in violence. You will not see me deal in violence. You will not see that. Try to fuck with my livelihood and tell me I ain't free. Oh, I was a nigga that's gonna be free. I was gonna be a free nigga. I was either gonna be a free nigga or was a dead nigga. But we definitely gonna be acting up. And I know that because of how I operate today. Because I was never compromised to sell my soul to Fox or TPUSA.
Call from.
And the niggas that sell their soul to Fox News and TPUSA is the niggas that would have turned into slaves. The niggas that ran the Charlie Kirk and talk shit about Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd, and they get their coins off of denigrating black people. Those the niggas that would have been sitting next to Massa. The niggas calling them out was the real niggas. Then you got the soft niggas on the left who fucking sing Lift Every Voice and Sing, while I'm in the back of the church talking about, nah, we need to say Lift Every Gun and Sing, but then the NAACP comes in with their nonviolent bullshit. Jonah, what you got, yo?
Yeah, this should work, I hope.
What you sent it to?
Yeah, I sent you some stuff. I sent it to Instagram and Twitter, but
I can't find it on Instagram. Instagram DMs are trash. I got to tell you, I can't never find nothing in here.
Yeah. Well, the reason I sent it on Instagram is because I had some posts that I've already done on there. But yeah, it's kind of funny because you'll see the school events, they line up with the first link there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much you want to go into that. Those you know.
It says here trends in antidepressant use among persons aged 12 and over. Oh, yeah, line up with the events.
They line up with the events 100%.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you know, you know, for what they say with so it's SSRIs and antidepressants, black box with the effect of suicide. So there's a black box warning. Black box warning, and they're giving this to like 4-year-olds, right? So black box warning is over 4% rate of suicide.
Right.
So it's really high. And then known effects of schizophrenia and psychosis. And this is what they're giving to children, right? So then, you know, you're completely fucking their brains with petrochemicals, which you're not allowed to put in your car anymore. But you can put it in your child and kill them or poison them, right? You know, and then these things happen, and then they want to blame, you know, the child or the parents or whatever, like that trial in Michigan last week.
Yeah.
But it's never big pharma, you know. So it's all really kind of interesting and funny all at the same time because, you know, I know at the start of COVID, I was one of those stupid ones, and I'd be like, oh, the Nuremberg trial. Then I looked it up and realized only 10 people were executed, and one of them was a doctor. I was like, oh.
Yeah. A lot of people slid on them Nuremberg trials.
Yeah, only 10 were executed. 10 total.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't realize that until I looked it up because recently doing a podcast, I'm like, 10? That's it? Like they made it sound like it was so much higher.
Right. Somebody said HJ would have led his people to suicide. See, that's scared nigga talk. That's called scared nigga talk. The price of freedom is death. Y'all rather somebody bend you over and put it in your ass. I was talking to Shorty the other day about being in jail. She was like, you know, saying something about, you know, men who get raped in jail. I said, men who get raped in jail like that shit. Because don't no man. And I'm going to have the ex-cons. I need to ask the ex-cons this, you know, about when you do time, you know, how much of that shit is, somebody bending you over. You know what I mean? The people who allow, no real nigga gonna allow it. I said, they might get away with it the first time. But the second time, oh no, you gotta like that shit. Cause if you do some shit like that to me, nigga, you not sleeping. Promise you, you not going to sleep. Somebody going to sleep for good. Y'all some scary niggas.
I was going to point out for the chatter there. It's kind of funny he brings up suicide because my younger brother was suicided by our government. So,
yeah,
it wasn't legal either, because but that's also funny too because they give you 90 days or whatever once you're approved, and then he had to wait another 45 on top of that because they can't even kill you right.
Exactly.
So, it is what it is with these cocksuckers out there. But it's kind of funny, right? If you want someone to blame for all these events, it's the petrochemicals and Rockefellers.
I agree. That's definitely a huge part of it.
Yeah. Anyways, Hotep build.
Hotep and build.
Okay.
Strong Dad, go ahead, call in. Strong Dad about to call in. Goldstein said, yeah, niggas are gay or weak if they getting raped. That's what I'm saying. No real man's allowing that to happen to them. I'm sorry, yo. I'm gonna catch you in the cafeteria, the bathroom. Your ass gonna be in the infirmary by the time. I don't give a fuck how big you are, nigga. I'm gonna be fucking chiseling the shit out of my toothbrush all night. Like, ooh, I can't wait to see this nigga when I see him. And I'm gonna sneak up on you like a motherfucking ninja and put that shit in your motherfucking neck. You try me on some shit like that. Go, Strong Dad, what you got, man?
Yo, the niggas who be getting it in prison, they give it up. They give it up.
They give it up, right?
Because they're fucking because they either really want that shit or they're scared.
They're scared, right?
They're scared, and they don't know how to defend themselves. We didn't heard it. I done heard it in so many cells. I done heard it on the block. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you come back from lunch a little early or from the yard a little early, and the niggas in the cell just giving it up. Just giving it up. Nigga was straight as a motherfucking arrow when he came in. When he was on the bus with you, he was talking about his girl. He was talking about his kids and his wife and all that shit. All the bitches he was knocking down. And then 2 weeks later, when the debt start running through and he's broke, he in the cell giving it up to a nigga so he don't get his ass whooped. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Couldn't be me.
No, facts.
And so
it ain't finna be me.
So that was
I'm gonna be dead.
Facts. We just gonna have to die.
We're gonna be everywhere. We're dying. We're dying in there. The two of us are gonna die in there.
Yes. It's that simple. Somebody said,
Period.
2020 said, I would have led my people to suicide. And I'm like, yo, that's scary nigga talk. Because, like,
that's some scary nigga shit.
You really gonna stay enslaved? Now, I just understand, some slaves didn't know that they wasn't free, right? All right, let's put that aside.
Right.
But a nigga conscious and going, oh, it's more to life than this shit, and you choose to stay there because you're scared of death, that's wild to me. That's wild.
The nigga who said that would have snitched on Denmark Vesey. He'd have snitched on Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's that weird shit. The native niggas, the native motherfuckers out here fought to the fucking death. To the death.
Yep.
To the y'all they talk about them having resurrection. They didn't want that shit. Right. They fought until their men were obliterated. Half of their languages are gone.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather be in that group than in the group that nigga who commented is in. Everybody just shucking along and we singing the Black National Anthem while the white man whipping your ass.
Right.
The fuck?
Fuck that.
No. Not me. Not me.
That shit need a remix.
Absolutely not me.
That shit need a remix. You could tell when the NAACP is afoot because there's always some bitch ass shit going around.
Always. And they always talking about what you know what I'm saying, on that with the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the white man that whooped our ass, but we stood strong. Oh, nigga, I'm going to get shot on that bridge because ain't no white man whooping my ass. I don't care. Nigga.
You could get the first one. I always say, you going to get it. You going to get that first one. Just don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. Khalid Muhammad fought the KKK with hands and feet with niggas in the streets. A nigga like that commented, that nigga would have been like, oh, not me, them niggas is asking for trouble. I'm about that good trouble. Fuck good trouble, nigga. What? Are you kidding me? This is that kind of weak shit that is the reason why black people have this. We got so many issues today because of shit like that. Because niggas want to duck and hide and just get by. And that's the fucking reason why that's the reason why we can't even stand up to each other in the community. We let other people like us run over each other because we can't stand up for nothing no more.
Right.
We just a victim to everything. That shit is wild. That shit is wild. And I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. If you send me back in time, I'm not coming back because I died fighting a white nigga on a random plantation because he tried to whip my great-great-grandmother. I refuse. I refuse. And I land my plane.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate you, bro.
Vax, Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. Man, listen. Niggas got me ranting on a Monday. I'm telling you, it's that Apex. And Strong Dad got me on that creatine, too. The show about to be crazy now. The show about to be crazy. If you want more of this, patreon.com/Hotep's Been Told You. Me and Uncle Hotep tonight. We got our secret show, Hotep's Been Told You 2.0. Patreon.com/Hotep's Been Told You. Link in the description box below. We're going to get into the Super Bowl and all of that good stuff. So we're going to have a laughing good time talking about Taylor and them. So tune in for that. Chess lessons tonight at 8 p.m. Kick.com/Hotep Jesus. So I hope to see you there for chess lessons. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. for the Grift Report. I'm your host, Hotep Jesus, the Grift God. Be well. Be merry. Tell somebody in your family that you love them. And as always, wait, I missed the super chat. Robert Jones, are white people just learning about the Black National Anthem? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Jesse Aaron, thank you for the super. Did I get this one? No, I got that one. Anyway, I'm out of here, man. Hotep and Bill.
Envision a sanctuary where community and sustainability are the cornerstones of living. In this haven, every family is able to grow their own food, children flourish through homeschooling tailored to unlock their full potential, and education extends beyond textbooks, instilling self-worth and a deep understanding of the world around them. Here, goodwill isn't just an ideal, it's the essence of daily life, where respect for law and order harmonizes with the community's resourcefulness. This place isn't just a dream, it's a call to action for everyone who believes in a better, more connected way of living. Join us in building a future where each individual's contributions create a tapestry of enduring harmony and prosperity. Join us in Hotepistan,